Our main guy, Hayan Wu, gets straight up murdered, shot, and he falls into the water. He wakes up and somehow finds himself transported back to 1987. Here's the crazy part. He's not Hayan Wu, the son from a poor family, anymore. Now he's suddenly Do Jun, a super rich heir to a massive Korean conglomerate. But get this, Hayan Wu doesn't give a crap about the money or the fancy stuff. All he wants is to see his mom again, who passed away 10 years earlier. So, Hayan Wu, now living as Do Jun, practically sprints to his old neighborhood, to his family's tiny little restaurant. He stands outside, peeking through the window. He sees his little brother doing his homework. Then he spots her, a figure both unfamiliar and yet so familiar. It's his mom. Gathering all his courage, Hayan Wu walks into the restaurant and says he wants a bowl of soup. His mom, being the sweetheart that she is, warmly invites him to sit down. She brings him a steaming bowl of soup, and she notices a cut on his face. So she grabs a band-aid and hands it to him. That's it. Hayan Wu can't hold it together anymore. He's about to burst into tears. His parents exchange confused glances, wondering what's wrong with this kid. Just then, Do Jun's new mom shows up. She asks her son, "Why did you run off here by yourself?" and starts to take him home. Seeing his real mom and his new mom right next to each other, Hayan Wu reluctantly leaves with Do Jun's mother. In the car, Do Jun pulls the band-aid from his pocket and just starts crying. Mom is alive. This is so amazing. Mom is really here, he thinks. Now, things get even weirder. When Do Jun leaves the restaurant, he discovers that the Hayan Wu of this 1987 world still exists. What the heck? Driven by a desire to figure out who killed him in his past life, Do Jun goes with his new parents to the chairman's house. Today is the chairman's big birthday bash. The whole family has thrown him a massive party. Do Jun is looking at a family photo, trying to recall the family tree he saw before. But Hayan Wu can't find any information about Do Jun. Was Do Jun not originally part of the family? Then a sharp pain in his ear interrupts his memories. A second later, he sees the chairman's eldest grandson, Song Jun, sneak into the study. Seong Jun is the vice president of the company and a known bully. In fact, he's the same guy who once poured hot water on Hayan Wu. So our guy decides to follow him and see what he's up to. Seong Jun sees Do Jun suddenly pop into the room and freaks out, stumbling backward and knocking over the chairman's priceless vase. Seong Jun quickly peeks outside to make sure nobody saw anything. Then, he grabs a shard of the broken vase and places it in Do Jun's hand, trying to frame him. He threatens Do Jun, saying, "You better do what I say. No one will believe you anyway." Want to know why? Because I'm the heir to the entire company. Do Jun can't believe that Seong Jun is still acting so stupid. That comment makes Seong Jun go ballistic. He lunges at his younger brother, trying to punch him. But Seong Jun's mom jumps in to stop him. Everyone rushes in, wondering what is going on. Seong Jun immediately blames Do Jun for breaking the vase. He claims that he just caught Do Jun in the act and was going to take him to the chairman. This guy is lying through his teeth. Do Jun's dad asks him what happened. Seeing Seong Jun's mom smirking at him, Do Jun says that Seong Jun broke the vase, not him. Of course, nobody believes him. But to prove he's telling the truth, Do Jun pulls the study key out of Seong Jun's pocket. That's all the evidence they need. Seong Jun, now totally embarrassed and furious, tries to attack Do Jun again. But just then, Chairman Yang Cheol shows up. Hayan Wu, who used to be a secretary at Sunyang Group, is now Do Jun thanks to some crazy accident. And now, Do Jun is being falsely accused of breaking the chairman's vase. It looks bad for Do Jun, but luckily he has the evidence to prove that Seong Jun is the real culprit. Seong Jun punches him in the gut out of frustration. Perfect timing. Chairman Yang Cheol suddenly shows up with a stern look. He grabs Seong Jun and brings him to the broken vase, telling him that he's furious, but not because Seong Jun broke the expensive vase. He is angry that he still can't control his emotions. So it's all about becoming a legitimate heir. Our guy, Hayan Wu, remembers reading Chairman Yang Cheol's biography back when he was alive. Now he's back as Do Jun. He's decided to embrace this new life. First things first, he needs to get Yang Cheol's approval. He sees he needs to take the initiative to make a name for himself. However, he quickly realizes there's a slight issue. His dad, Yang Cheol's third son, hasn't been involved in the family business for over 10 years. And they don't exactly have the best relationship. Do Jun thinks to himself, "Guess I'm going to have to do this on my own." So the very next day, he heads over to the chairman's house. All the bigwigs are there, discussing the upcoming election. But they're stuck. They can't decide who to back. Their finances are also running low, so every penny needs to be spent wisely. Du Jun sees this as his chance. He tells Yang Chiol's secretary that he has a way to get the funds they need. Uncle Dong Ki laughs, saying there's no way a kid like Du Jun can bring in any significant money. So Du Jun raises his hand, and Dong Ki chuckles again, thinking maybe he can bring in 50,000 won. 5 billion won. Du Jun says. Dong Ki is shocked. Then Du Jun continues. Please tell Grandpa that we need to immediately buy up shares of Star Group and support candidate Tae Young. Seeing how serious he is, everyone is taken aback. Young Ki asks Du Jun, why are you supporting Tae Young? Did your parents tell you to say this? Du Jun explains that it has nothing to do with his dad. He just wants to discuss this with the chairman. If he doesn't have time now, he'll come back later. After Du Jun leaves, the secretary suddenly gets a phone call and tells everyone to check the latest news. They immediately turn on the TV, and they realize that everything Du Jun said could actually happen. Holy crap, Star Group stock price is skyrocketing. Dong Ki rushes to his dad's office. Yang Chiol has already seen the news on TV. Secretary Heng Jae runs out the door and stops Du Jun's car. Yang Chiol wants to see him immediately. Everything is going exactly as Du Jun predicted. The chairman asks him why he knew the stock price would go up. Du Jun says he analyzed the data after watching the news. Yang Chiol then asks him why he's supporting Tae Young. Because his current poll numbers aren't that high. Du Jun explains. He tells him the story about how when the herons fight over the fish, the fisherman wins. He continues. We need to become the fishermen. Right now the frontrunners have two major tycoons backing them. There's a high chance they'll both fail completely. So the group will support candidate Tae Young, and the ultimate winner will definitely be us. Yang Chiol stands up, but doesn't answer Du Jun. Instead, he poses a difficult question. If he can answer it, he will reward him with a gift. If two sharks want to eat a small shrimp, how can that shrimp survive? Think about it and give me an answer. Du Jun can't figure it out. Then, that night, he sees a magazine next to him, and finally understands what his grandpa meant. Right now, Korea is like a small shrimp stuck between the US and Japan. How to compete against them is what Yang Chiol has been struggling with for a long time. Because Sunyang Group specializes in producing semiconductors, but when it comes to either tech or price, the semiconductors can't compete with Japan or the US. This is what his grandpa wants to figure out how to solve. He quickly goes to his room and calls Yang Chiol, but he realizes the chairman has already flown to Dubai to sign a contract. After finding out more details about the schedule, he realizes that this is the day that Yang Chiol will die. He immediately runs outside to find a public phone and calls the police. He says that the plane will explode tomorrow. But, of course, no one believes a random phone call. They think it's just kids playing pranks. With no other options left, Du Jun runs through the pouring rain to his grandma's house. He tells her he needs to make a phone call to his grandpa. Unsurprisingly, it's the secretary who picks up the phone. Du Jun asks him to tell his grandpa that he's figured out the answer to the question he posed, and that he shouldn't take that flight back. Even though the secretary takes notes, he somehow loses the paper. Yang Chiol boards the doomed plane anyway. He can never sit still, so he even fights with his brother to watch the news on TV. But the news report never even airs. Grandma calls with the terrible news. The whole family rushes to Grandpa's house. Turns out the plane exploded. After confirming the passenger list, the whole family is devastated. Du Jun figures he couldn't change destiny after all. But suddenly, Grandpa walks through the door. The grandpa, who was supposed to be dead in a plane explosion, is back and alive, shocking and relieving everyone. The whole family immediately rushes over to greet him, but he scolds them for mourning as if he'd passed. Then, he turns to Du Jun and heads upstairs. It turns out his survival was thanks to that lost piece of paper that contained the message from him. Smart Du Jun hadn't directly said the plane would crash. He told his grandpa that today was the last day to acquire the semiconductor company. If he wasn't back before 5 p.m., he would lose the chance to acquire it. His grandpa saw the note, thought about it for a while, and decided to return a little earlier. That's how he narrowly escaped death. There's no way these coincidences are happening by accident. Grandpa suspects Du Jun. He calls him to the study and asks how he can predict the future so many times. Whether it's the stock price soaring, the candidate becoming president, or even the plane crash. It seems like Du Jun knows everything. He interrogates him. Did you know all this beforehand? Speak up. Du Jun says he just guessed his grandpa's intentions. He knew how the shrimp could fight back. On the surface, it seems like he is assessing Du Jun. But in reality, he is simply trying to decide what to do about acquiring the semiconductor company. He needs someone on his side who supports him unconditionally. Fortunately, Du Jun's answer is exactly what Yang Chiol was thinking. So, he agrees to give him the reward he promised. But he doesn't want money. He goes to the map and points to a place. Please buy me this land. His grandpa is confused. Why would he choose that land? It's remote and poor. Du-jun explains that he just likes it. Of course, for the chairman, it's just a small gift. Grandpa, being a true tycoon, immediately buys him the entire area. Flash forward 10 years, and the land that Du-jun chose has been developed into the most bustling district in Seoul. His grandpa asks why he chose it that year. Du-jun says it was just luck. Afterward, Yang Cheol takes him to the bank vault. Inside, there's a mountain of cash stacked higher than a person. It's safe to say that in his entire life, he has never seen so much money. Grandpa says that's 24 billion earned from selling the land. Du-jun is shocked. Even though he knew it would be a lot, he didn't expect it to be this much. He is overwhelmed by the mountain of money. Grandpa then gives him a task. He tells him to figure out how to spend the money and leaves. The secretary reminds him that Du-jun is only 20 years old. It's not appropriate for him to have so much money. But Yang Cheol disagrees. He says the money is his. At 20 years old, he should learn how to manage and spend it. He continues that successful people think differently. What he questions and wonders about isn't the money itself, but his incredible luck. There's no way these coincidences are happening accidentally, and there's no way they could happen so frequently. It's Du-jun's first day of school, and the press is all over him like ants on a picnic. He's the first in the family to get into Seoul University with top scores. This shatters the stereotype that rich kids are book dogs. The man is brilliant, charming, and has a mysterious backstory. The press couldn't get enough of him. After the press conference and photos, Du-jun is stopped by a group of classmates driving a convertible. They introduce themselves, and he realizes they're all rich kids from upper-class families. Though he hated them in his past life, he is now a rich heir himself. He grudgingly gives them his phone number. He couldn't care less about those trust fund babies though, and his eyes follow a girl in the distance. Sparks fly. From that moment on, the flame of love is ignited. Since being reborn as a rich heir, his goal isn't just to make money. He asked his grandpa to buy a barren piece of land to make capital. After decades, that land was sold for 24 billion, and the chairman gave the money to Du-jun. Uncle Dong-ki is restless. He warns his older brother to watch out for Du-jun. At only 20, he can make so much money. Grandpa also likes him, but young Ki doesn't care, and he doesn't consider Du-jun a threat at all. He thinks 24 billion is just pocket change his grandpa gave him. Young Ki thinks they are overreacting, but his sister reminds him that this money could be a test for Du-jun, and the results might change how their dad plans to split up the inheritance. All three of them are starting to feel the threat. They can't underestimate him. On the other hand, Du-jun visits his dad's office. He knows his dad isn't interested in the power struggles of the upper class. So 10 years ago, he told his dad to buy the rights to a movie. He said this movie would be a huge success. But his dad said, "Home Alone during Christmas? How can that be a hit?" Du-jun insisted that he trusted him. Indeed, that movie was a huge success, and it even won an international award. His dad made a lot of money because of the film. The wisdom of someone who has seen the future can't be wrong. Today, Du-jun is asking his dad to go to the US with him, because he wants to attend a film festival and invest in a movie that he has his eyes on. Because of the last time, his dad completely trusts Du-jun's judgment, so he agrees to go to the US. But, unfortunately, he bumps into a random guy. The guy gets angry and yells, "Hey!" Du-jun immediately recognizes the man's accent. He's Korean. The man picks up the fallen donut and scolds Du-jun, demanding that he pay him $10 million. Du-jun says that even though he is rich, he is not stupid. There's no way he's paying $10 million for a donut. At most, this donut is just $1. He clearly has mental problems. But surprisingly, the guy says he's going to the film festival to invest, and he has to eat a donut before every investment so he can have good luck. But now that the donut is ruined, that means he's lost $10 million. Du-jun is speechless. This guy is crazy. Incredibly, the man picks up the donut, blows on it a few times, and shoves it in his mouth. He announces that he is going to invest today. Du-jun immediately heads to the set of Titanic. He knows this movie will become famous worldwide. His dad trusts his judgment and decides to invest. After they leave, they run into the crazy man who is talking to the producer about investing in Titanic. But the producer thinks, he didn't eat a donut today. Truly, there isn't much of a difference between a successful person and a crazy one. She also said that the lead actress is a nobody, and how could a movie like that be a hit? So she absolutely refuses to invest. The eccentric guy next to her introduces her to a script on a massive yacht. It's easy to see the difference between the rich and the poor here. The tale of a poor guy and a rich girl? That never happens in real life. Du-jun immediately realizes that this guy has a keen eye for opportunity. Observing him more closely, he notices the document he's holding, and he remembers. This guy is Si Hayan, a famous investor in the future. Du-jun has a plan. If he can partner with him, he'll be unstoppable. The next day, he goes to find Si Hayan, but he doesn't want to work with the 20-year-old kid. Du-jun sees that he is watching a Go match, the first fight between IBM's Deep Blue AI and the world champion. Du-jun knows that Deep Blue will win, but Si Hayan doesn't believe it. He thinks a machine can't guess a human's intentions. He immediately bets Si Hayan, so he leaves his number on a napkin, saying if the robot wins, call this number. Unbelievably, Si Hayan doesn't think anything of it. He keeps watching the game. Lo and behold, Du-jun was right. The computer has won for the first time. When he goes to grab the napkin, he sees that it's soaked and smudged. He rushes outside to find him, but the next second, Du-jun appears right in front of him. Of course, he knew the results beforehand. He was just waiting for him to call. The two go to the park. Si Hayan asks him how he knew it would win. Du-jun says that he's had very accurate predictions since he was young. Even though it sounds ridiculous, it's still convincing. He gets up and tells him that he wants him to help him invest. Si Hayan looks at him with disgust and says that he does not invest in someone who doesn't have at least 100 million. Du-jun casually stops him and says that he has more than 100 million. They are kindred spirits, so they quickly agree to work together as he flies back to Korea. The Sunyang family is planning to acquire a steel company. This is a project that the son-in-law gave to Yang Cheol. The company is asking for 500 billion. Hearing that, Yang Cheol immediately refuses, calling the price unreasonable. But there's another issue. A rival conglomerate is also trying to acquire the steel company. Seeing this, the eldest son says that if they want to acquire it, they will need to spend about 400 billion. The chairman does not agree, gives the son a 300 billion budget, and tasks him with acquiring the company at that price. A nearly impossible task is then pushed onto the shoulders of the eldest son. At the same time, Du-jun has returned to Korea. He is waiting on the first floor for the chairman. His grandma asks why he is studying law and not business. Seeing this, the daughter-in-law interrupts and says that he doesn't seem to want to work in business. Everyone understands what she means, but he says he's studying law to help his grandpa. These words make the daughter-in-law uneasy. Just then, Assistant Kim comes to announce that the meeting has ended. Du-jun immediately heads upstairs to find his grandpa. As soon as he sees his grandson, the chairman is extremely happy. He asks him how his trip to America was, what he ate, and what he liked best. After thinking for a moment, he says that he loves donuts. That's the same donut the eccentric investor eats. Everyone. You wonder if this young man intentionally said this. And seeing how much his grandfather cares for Du-jun, Dong-ki is restless like his fire is running out. And he once again reminds his older brother that he needs to watch out for Du-jun standing in their father's eyes. Because of how frequently he has been reminded, the vice president wonders, does the chairman truly want Du-jun to be the heir? As he's pondering this, Chief Lee walks in. Young-ki immediately asks him what his father is expecting of him. Lee believes that he's wondering if he actually wants the steel company, or just wants to remove me from the vice president position. After hearing him out, Chief Lee gives him some advice. The chairman is giving him a chance to try. Since you are his eldest son, try your best to buy the steel company to show your capabilities. After hearing that, the vice president feels better. But it turns out the chairman had already anticipated this, and he let Chief Lee say all that to Young-ki. Back to Du-jun. The chairman orders that a driver be arranged for Du-jun, since the way to school seems a little far for his grandson. The next day, that happens. The driver brings Du-jun to school. For some reason, he keeps glancing at his young master. They finally arrive on campus. In a music room, he spots Min-young, but he only dares to stand behind and watch quietly. When she goes to grab a book, they bump into each other. Seeing this, Du-jun pretends to be looking for a book. After a moment, he loses sight of her while looking for her. She says that he looks familiar. She is the one who started the conversation. But he gives her an answer that just completely shuts her down. The line is so played out. He says if she wants to get to know me, treat me to a meal. What a player. She then says, just because you are handsome, you can do whatever you want. A bit later, Min-young realizes who he is, and she assumes that he is so confident because his grandpa is supporting him. She argues that it is rude, and she would never resort to something as simple as that. So she says she will be inviting him out to a meal if he will let her know when her favorite musical group will be performing on the street. Then he really puts on a thick face. Even though she doesn't believe him, she cannot help but ask if he will really be joining him for that meal. As she is getting ready, she finds the right hairstyle to look the best for the night. He arrives right on time. He is a little embarrassed and feels as if it's been too many years since he has dressed nicely. The two still head inside. While they're walking in, she won't stop asking about her idol. Seeing how eager she is for the answer, he just says, 4 years. Is she crazy about her idol? The fact that she is so gullible is why he said he was going to have her wait for 4 years. Seeing this, Do-jun can't help but laugh. This girl is so cute. Meanwhile, the driver is reporting his schedule. It turns out he was sent by the chairman to watch over the young master. Of course, someone as smart as him knows this, but he probably thinks this is a good thing. Inside, they bump into the rich kids group. The two groups come to greet each other. Min-young is very uncomfortable. She didn't expect Do-jun to bring her here to meet those people. Min-young says that she doesn't fit in here and then sulks off. At the same time, the chairman is being reported on Do-jun's schedule. Chief Lee says the young master is enjoying his youth, but the chairman believes that his brat is not as simple as that, and he is definitely doing something in secret. The next day, a major event occurs. The steel group officially declares bankruptcy. Quickly, the vice president prepares to negotiate, but an incident occurs. Someone has offered the steel company $500 billion. It isn't a rival company, but an investment group overseas, and that investor is Hayan. He successfully acquired the steel company. Immediately, the vice president's group investigates the man. They don't understand why a foreign group would buy a struggling company in Korea. This makes the vice president angry, and he tells assistant Kim to quickly investigate. On the other hand, the chairman has realized the investor is just a pawn, and the person who is trying to stop Sunyang from acquiring the steel company is the owner of this chessboard. In another scene, Do-jun is standing to the side, secretly watching his birth mother. Even though he wants to go, he is not her son anymore. A bit later, things start to become clear. Investor Hayan secretly met with Do-jun. It turns out that Do-jun asked the investor to buy the steel company, so Do-jun is the mastermind the chairman was talking about. However, the investor doesn't understand why Do-jun wants to acquire the steel group, even to the point of using $500 billion to invest in it. That's insane. But it turns out, Do-jun only didn't want the company to fall into the vice president's hands. Seeing how he's dealing with his family members, the investor asks, "So what you really want is Sunyang?" The silence, along with his gaze, said it all. The skyscraper of the Sunyang group is shining in his eyes. After slapping his son, Yang Chio leaves the racetrack alone, not allowing anyone to follow him. Only Do-jun understands his sorrow, because in his past life, he had read his autobiography. Many know that before becoming the chairman of a major group, he started as a delivery driver. After working hard for some time, he gathered a team that transports products for others by truck. He gradually obtained a team, then started a transportation company. Thanks to gradually accumulating experience, he created his own empire and established a semiconductor group that strongly influenced the economy. However, he never relinquished his dream of building cars. So you could say the racetrack is where his dream started. Do-jun follows his memories from his past life to find him. Seeing Do-jun, he is surprised, as if there is some emotional connection between the two. He says that he poured his heart and soul into cars, but is still considered a pastime for rich people. Seeing Do-jun's expression, he couldn't help but feel a little disappointed. He tells him to go back so he can continue fixing cars. But Do-jun doesn't move. He steps forward and holds up a flashlight. His actions say it all. He says he understands his obsession. Maybe only he truly understands that the car industry is like the engine of the conglomerate. Because of it, the conglomerate can go even further. It's shocking that after living for so long, the person who understands him most is his youngest grandson, from whom he didn't expect much. Yang Cheol agrees to return with Do-jun to attend the press conference for the new car. The press conference represents his heart and soul. When speaking, the car is no longer a part of heavy industry. He will try his best to develop the semiconductor industry to bring the Sunyang group to new heights. After the debut ends, Donkey suddenly calls Do-jun. He intentionally asks him if he knows about the company in America buying the steel factory. If Grandpa were to find out about this, his car dreams would shatter. Do-jun tells Donkey that it is better to have power investment buy it, rather than let Donkey seize it. At this point, Donkey's expression changes. It turns out that he has had people follow Do-jun, and has discovered Do-jun's frequent contact with Hayan. He intentionally finds someone to give the picture to Yang Cheol. Yang Cheol, who is practicing calligraphy, has to stop to ask if Do-jun went to America the last time, and if Hayan is an investor from America. There's no way such a coincidence could happen. The next day, Grandpa insists on taking Do-jun to school. He intentionally probes Do-jun, wanting to know if he went to a party on his last trip to America. Do-jun says he didn't have time to go because he was too busy. Then his grandpa asks why he changed $24 billion. Do-jun immediately says that he and his dad are investing in a movie. Hearing this, he suddenly becomes furious and says that he hates traders more than anything. Very confused, the next day, while Do-jun and Si-hyun are discussing the acquisition at the hotel, they suddenly receive a flower arrangement that the hotel sent as a gift. Without thinking, they do not realize that the flower arrangement contains a listening device. And the owner of that device is Yang Cheol, who is in his office listening to their conversation. Yang Cheol realizes that his grandson could be behind this. But, as someone who's been through it all, he isn't easily fooled. To see if this is really the case, he invites Si Hayan to his office and asks him if he's working for Du Jun. Si Hayan tells the truth. He did receive an investment from Du Jun, but it's not to acquire the steel mill. It's to buy a small online reading website. He even argued with Du Jun about it, saying that buying the website is like throwing money away. Still feeling doubtful, Chairman Yang Cheol asks him why he invested in the steel company. He says that he was looking for an opportunity to invest in Korea, and it just so happened that the steel mill came along. Then, Si Hayan reminds him that they are not the only ones trying to invest in the steel mill. Daeyoung Group is also interested. And considering how Daeyoung is hemorrhaging cash, who's backing them? As soon as this question is asked, they get a surprise answer. The name that comes up shocks everyone. Yang Cheol's second son, Dong Ki. This is a blow to Yang Cheol. The secretary recommends that he call Dong Ki and stop the investment before it's too late. But he says there's no need. There's no family on the battlefield. You can't make great things happen if you worry about your family, he says. Young Ki invites professional consultants to figure out the starting bid to win the auction that night. But they discover that the project only needed 30 billion. But now, they need to spend 75 billion to have a chance. And the most money he can gather is 70 billion. When Young Ki is about to sell some of his shares, his sister, Hua Young, shows up and says that she can give him 5 billion. But on the condition that he helps her husband become a politician. They both agree, and he finally buys the steel mill for 75 billion. Yang Cheol sighs in relief. That night, he calls his two sons home for dinner. Seeing his brother, he fakes a smile. But Dong Ki knows that he helped the Daeyoung Group. Dong Ki is shaken. Then, Yang Cheol says he knows it too. Dong Ki is extremely flustered, waiting for the storm to come. But the chairman doesn't say anything. He just tells his daughter-in-law to get the family head some soup. When she gives it to him, he says that he isn't talking about him. He is speaking about Young Ki, as he is the head of the family. Feeling like his dad finally accepted him, Young Ki is touched to tears. In a different place, Du Jun and Si Hayan should have been sad because they had lost the deal. But they are laughing. This is what they wanted. Du Jun is doing all of this to raise the acquisition price for the Sunyang Group, to drown them in debt, because he knows the world will soon enter an economic recession. Every day, Grandpa Yang Cheol watches the news about all the bankrupt companies, and he is very stressed. Meanwhile, Du Jun is making a profit of 900% because he invested in the reading website. This proves that what is a crisis for Grandpa Yang Cheol is an opportunity for his grandson. After Hayan Wu was reborn as Du Jun, he was able to have a superpower, the ability to see the future. He not only helps his grandpa get out of danger, but he also drives the person who bullied him in his past life out of the house. But good days do not last. Seong Jun's bad habits return, and he starts throwing his weight around. He's back to being arrogant and intimidating to Du Jun, a display of stubbornness. Seong Jun says that he's back to help Grandpa handle the company's business, but he doesn't forget to add that it's a good thing. Du Jun isn't interested in the family business, or else he might not have been able to come back at all. Du Jun just smiles. His goal isn't to inherit the company, but to create his new business empire. The 2007 economic crisis spares no one, and Sunyang Group is facing an unprecedented threat. This is Du Jun's chance. The grandpa is starting to catch on to Du Jun's connections to Si-hyun. Also because he's meddling in a car acquisition project. Yang Cheol confronts him about this. Du Jun honestly says that he and Si Hayan had a big argument after acquiring the website. The chairman warns him not to associate with people like that anymore. He doesn't care about anything but money, and he doesn't know how to run a business. This gets Du Jun. He asks why his grandpa is against getting more cars for them, so they can boost their production. Hearing this, his grandpa turns around and says, "Do you know why you shouldn't let slaves eat their fill? Because if they're full, they'll think they're the masters." Even though he's been reborn, some things he will never understand. South Korea enters a new chapter when the financial crisis hits. The Asian financial crisis is like a giant beast that's starting to tear its prey apart. The Korean won's value is plummeting, and the country's economy is on the verge of collapse. They are forced to ask for help from the IMF, agreeing to $21 billion in aid. But this comes with strict requirements. For example, Korea has to open its financial markets, relax labor market regulations, and the cables have to accept economic reform. A bleak gray hue is cast over the South Korean economy. Only Du Jun is the exception. He not only isn't affected, but because he exchanged his money for US dollars, and invested in Amazon before it went public. He's earned super high returns. Now he's holding a large amount of foreign currency and is one step ahead of foreign investors. He is preparing to start buying quality domestic companies. Du Jun has chosen Ajin Motors, the second largest car company in the country, which cannot pay its 4.5 trillion won in debt. See, Hayan has a headache. Businesses Du Jun invests in are either an e-commerce company that no one thought twice about, or a car company with massive debt. Flashback to when Ajin Motors closed. Hayan Wu's dad worked there. Time passes until the spring of 1998. The Korean economy is not getting better at all. In his speech, the president reminds everyone about inflation. Closing businesses is unavoidable. Large corporations should tighten their belts and plan for the long term. The K-Bulls are also called to the Blue House to meet the president. Before the president arrives, Chairman Ju and Chairman Jin are arguing and ready to go to war. Chairman Jin mentions that the car market is failing. His second son is collaborating with Chairman Ju. Just as the conflict is about to erupt, the president arrives. After the meeting, Chairman Jin returns to the company. Because Sunyang's market share is low, they are being forced to accept restructuring. The only way to save Sunyang is to acquire Ajin Motors. If they synchronize technology and assembly lines, they can be reborn. Yang Cheol ignores his son's protests and decides to acquire Ajin Motors, despite the recession and the pressure from the market. See, Hayan figured this would happen. He warns Du Jun that they will likely have to give up Ajin Motors to Sunyang. They have more experience in the car market and also have a strong team. Du Jun acts like he is holding a secret trump card, and they are in for a surprise. Back at Sunyang, without money, even heroes cannot survive. His second son had collaborated with Chairman Ju to increase the acquisition price of the steel company. As a result, the eldest son had to scrape together every penny he could find to complete the auction. That left the company's coffers empty. Young Ki desperately looks for a way to raise capital, but he fails. In his fury, another troublemaker returns home. This is Yang Cheol's eldest grandson. Seong Jun lands back after some time away and is picked up by his fiancée, Hyeon Min. She is a stunner and knows it. Hyeon Min is doing whatever it takes to make sure that they have this set-up date, because she wants him to get rid of the date. She purposely blocks Seong Jun's driver and shows him photos of Seong Jun doing crazy stuff overseas. The driver has never seen someone quite so smart and dominating. Seong Jun is speechless from all the negative news about him and welcomes his return. Grandmother is excited. He is a sight for sore eyes after all this drama. Dong Ki wastes no time and immediately takes him to see Yang Cheol. Seeing his grandson after so long, his grandfather is extremely happy. It seems like the 5 years overseas weren't a waste. Yang Cheol tells Seong Jun that the first thing he has to do is follow the marriage arrangement he has made. Seong Jun hides his smile and agrees. Back at his mansion, Seong Jun stares at a picture of his future bride. He has a devious look on his face. The next day, Yang Cheol receives bad news. Sihan's independent investment company is preparing to acquire Ajin Motors. Faced with a threat like a tiger stalking its prey from a foreign company, he suddenly becomes worried. Before Yang Cheol can even finish worrying, Si-hyun quickly arrives at Ajin Motors. The secretary hands over a letter to the large stockholder, and her expression changes. Meanwhile, Du Jun is taking advantage of this time and goes to see his past family one last time. The driver wants to drive for him, all while acting as a lookout for Dong Ki. At this point, he stops holding back and exposes the driver. Startled, he has no choice but to hand over the keys. Du Jun drives to the alley where he lived in his past life. Due to the effects of the financial crisis, all the stores are closed. Hayan Wu's parents' store is no exception. He sees a pile of eviction notices and long bills in front of the door. There are also many debt collection notices. Just then, Hayan Wu's mom comes to the store. She tells Hayan Wu that she is out of business, but Hayan Wu insists on going into the store to grab something warm to eat. Hayan Wu's kind mom invites him into the shop and brings him a bowl of hot noodles. She suddenly feels a little familiar as she discovers that Du Jun doesn't eat raw eggs like her oldest son. When she is about to talk more about her family, her husband comes in, and the two start arguing. The husband wants to protest the layoffs at his company, while Hayan Wu's mom hopes that he can find a new job to support the family. Her words are excited and sad. His father is struggling with a lifetime of being the sole earner for the family. Everything is changing, and it's hard for him. He quickly leaves the money and chases after him, but Hayan Wu's dad, with the nickname Korea's Flash, disappears in the blink of an eye. The camera focuses on the negotiation with Ajin Motors. The acquisition letter that Du Jun sent is working. He makes a clear demand: no employees can be laid off after the acquisition. Everyone keeps their job because of him. The Korean economy continues to decline. Korea hosts a donation event calling on people to donate gold and jewelry to help the country overcome the challenges. In response, the Jin women all dress up and donate a large sum of money. Spending time in front of the camera is more important than their donation. When Do-jun returns to the company, he runs into his future sister-in-law in the elevator. Hayan Min immediately recognizes him as the youngest grandson of the Chaebol family. Unexpectedly, Do-jun pushes her into a corner. But he just reaches out and takes a tag off her sister's coat that she had forgotten to remove. The atmosphere in the elevator becomes a little strange. At the same time, Yang Cheol is arranging a blind date for Seong-jun and Hayan Min. Before they can even get a few words out, news arrives. Yang Cheol hears that Si Hayan is acquiring Ajin Motors. He immediately gets up and leaves. Just as he steps outside, he runs into Do-jun. This is the beginning of a showdown between the two of them. He reminds him not to associate with Si Hayan, saying he is bad news. His grandpa thinks that keeping Si Hayan's old employees is reckless. But Do-jun thinks there is nothing wrong with keeping the employees, as long as they can boost production and bring more profits to the company. At this point, Chairman Jin gets angry and says it doesn't matter whether they fire employees. The most important thing is that the new employees have to know who the owner is. They must obey the real owner of the company. On the wall is a calligraphy scroll written by Yang Cheol himself. At this time, the 4 words, "fair business," become extremely ironic. The conversation is overheard by Seong-jun, who is standing by the wall. He greets his smart and hardworking brother. Seong-jun is like nails on a chalkboard to him. It brings up so many terrible memories. Looking at the man who tortured him in his past life, Do-jun is overwhelmed with complex emotions. Cut to a scene. Hayan Wu is buying coffee in a store that is far from his house. Everything has a reason. And we see that the coffee seller is a beautiful girl named Min Yong. She's the passionate prosecutor from his past life. Min Yong knows that he has a crush. She says that he must like her. That's why he is buying coffee here. She hit the nail on the head. But Hayan Wu blinks innocently, putting on an innocent face. Who am I? I don't know anything. The top-tier acting skills of Hayan Wu make Min Yong think that she has misunderstood him. And she is so ashamed that she doesn't know where to hide her face. Who knew that Min Yong's love rival had also made their move? That person is none other than Hayan Min, his future sister-in-law. This woman investigates Hayan Wu and discovers that he is a very valuable asset, worth investing in. So she encourages her dad to stop Si Hayan's acquisition of Ajin Motors. She brings the reports and attempts to gain favor with Hayan Wu. As a result, Hayan Wu makes a run for it. Hayan Min's family is broadcasting the news. Si Hayan, representing a foreign company, is competing to acquire a Korean car company. The news sparks public outrage along with various protests. It has quickly become a Korean versus foreign company acquisition. This makes it impossible for the Korean government to approve the acquisition of Ajin Motors by a foreign company. Do-jun knows that this has happened, and meets with Si-hyun, and discusses the issues and tries to figure out how to continue to acquire Ajin Motors. He understands that once Sunyang acquires the company, Chairman Jin will definitely fire all the employees. In this case, this is the trigger for Hayan Wu's past life tragedy. In his past life, after being fired, Hayan Wu's dad went to protest. As a result, he was severely beaten. His mom saw this on the news, and she was so shocked that she fell into a coma and died shortly after. Hayan Wu will never let the tragedy happen again. But Si Hayan doesn't know what he's thinking, so the two have a major conflict. Si Hayan is influenced by the ideas of American capitalism. He believes that there is no such thing as a job that is stable forever. In the market, if someone gets rich, someone has to be fired. It's just how life is. If we need to pay that steep of a price just to keep the jobs of those being laid off, that's a bad investment. Since he's had enough of Si-hyun's perspective, Do-jun goes off the rails and decides to make a risky move. He promises Si-hyun that he'll help him hold shares in the top 10 car companies in the world. Considering everything Do-jun has been able to do before, Si-hyun is once again convinced. Si-hyun meets with Yang Cheol to negotiate. He can help Chairman Jin acquire Ajin Motors, but other than fair ownership of the company, the only condition is to keep all of the old employees. Si-hyun even returns the same business philosophy that Chairman Jin gave to Hayan Wu. Chairman Jin is suspicious of Si-hyun, wondering how he knew those words. But right now, in the war for Ajin Motors against Chairman Ju, he has no other choice. In the end, thanks to Si-hyun's financial support, Chairman Jun successfully acquires Ajin Motors. Hayan Wu is ecstatic. He thought he saved his mom in this life. But when he got to her house, he saw her funeral altar. In this life, Hayan Wu's mom didn't die from a heart attack like in his past life, but from suicide. Hayan Wu is shocked. Why would his mom kill herself? He frantically runs to the store and smashes the glass, trying to find a clue. In the wreckage, Du-jun finds a book where his mom recorded her living expenses and how she stretched every penny while still trying to take care of her son. Du-jun even finds his report card. He remembers that he had good grades, but because he was poor, tuition was a heavy burden. At that time, Du-jun often came to his mom's store to help and see how she was doing. He was just trying to see how she was, but he had no idea it was causing her this pressure. From the clues he finds, Du-jun slowly approaches the truth. He discovers that his mom had bought many shares of Sunyang Life Science. This has to be borrowed money. Du-jun doesn't understand why his mother, who had always been conservative, would borrow money to invest in the stock market, especially in a failing subsidiary of Sunyang Group. Du-jun is confused. He needs to find out what really happened. In the meantime, he runs into Min-yong. After the indirect confession last time, Min-yong feels like Du-jun is avoiding her. She has too much pride to confront him, so she gets angry and leaves. It's raining hard. Du-jun is trying to find his mom's killer, but also trying to win the woman he likes. He quickly brings her an umbrella and tells her the truth as he runs back into the rain. Then, he asks Si-Hyeon and his secretary to help him gather information on Sunyang Life Science. The information they gather is shocking. Sunyang Life Science had losses for 5 years due to bad management. However, after the IMF strongly intervened in Korea, many good things about Sunyang Life Science were written in the news, causing the company to have a beautiful transaction limit. By chance, the retail investors did not see these risks and invested. Hayan Wu's mom was also one of them. But what was most unexpected was Sunyang's actions. They did not take advantage of this opportunity to develop the subsidiary, but liquidated it instead. Analyzing it carefully, there was another anomaly. A foreign investment fund bought low and sold high on the stock. While Chairman Yang Cheol was at the Blue House discussing future directions, the fund had sold all of its stock before it was too late. Something is really wrong. He asks people to investigate, and finds out that they are all former financial directors of Sunyang. After much probing, everyone sees the truth. This is Sunyang Group's secret treasure trove. Cut to Chairman Yang Cheol. He's sternly discussing the plan with Chief Lee. Everything he is doing is to evade inheritance tax. Yang Cheol is in the room, ready to deploy his plan. Du-jun suddenly knocks, causing him to change his expression. Something is wrong. His youngest grandson never seemed to care about company business. Why is he here? Curious, he asks what brings him. Du-jun gets straight to the point. He asks the chairman why Sunyang Life Science leaked the news, and then let the subsidiary go bankrupt. Of course, the chairman doesn't hold himself accountable. He pushes the blame to the Blue House. He's just a helpless old man, bowing down to politics. At this time, Du-jun cannot hold it back anymore. He points out the harm done to retail investors and the shareholders. The chairman stares at him knowingly and says that Du-jun won't ever be poor, so he doesn't need to pretend like a hypocrite and gain sympathy from the public. Du-jun is stunned and leaves the building. In his mind, he sees his mom protesting across the street. He chases after her, but he realizes that it is all a delusion. Hopeless, he raises his head to the sky and vows to get his revenge. There is one more reason for him and the Jin family to be sworn enemies. Even though he doesn't do anything, there is still an internal war occurring. Actually, internal wars have been occurring for years. The chairman has pushed his eldest grandson, Seong-jun, who had just returned from overseas to Sunyang construction. This news makes Dong Ki very happy. He assumes that the chairman is evading inheritance tax. The grandson, who is supposed to be at the highest level of succession, has not been pushed into Sunyang Real Estate or Sunyang Electronics. He assumes that this is a sign of his dissatisfaction with his older brother. Meanwhile, Hua Young has also received the news and is starting to speculate. The Jin family is like a pack of bloodthirsty hyenas. Not only do they tear apart strangers, but they'll tear apart their loved ones at any moment. During the family dinner, the chairman brings Seong-jun to Sunyang Construction. He explains that he didn't command Seong-jun, but it was his idea. Seong-jun says that his grandpa created every business with hard work. All of the core fields have elders taking care of them, so he chose Sunyang Construction to protect his grandfather's hard work. This statement wins everyone over. But Dong Ki and his wife fear that Seong-jun will become a major competitor in the business world. So they praise Seong-jun for being fit for politics. The chairman hates it. He hates politics, using power to break market laws and forcing companies to bow down. Then, he criticizes his son-in-law. Chang Ji doesn't understand why he is being criticized, when he is obediently eating dinner without saying a word. The atmosphere at the table is very tense, even until the end. As soon as the chairman leaves, Hua Young starts bickering with her sister. She had stated she would help her husband succeed in politics. After that, Seong-jun and Do-jun sit down and talk. He wonders why Do-jun likes the law so much. Why doesn't he want to work at the family's company? Do-jun calmly answers that his dad has not been called to the company, and he will never get the opportunity to lead the group, because it shows the chairman's lack of faith. Do-jun doesn't want to waste his energy on the succession war. He knows he will lose. He had no idea that his dad had accidentally heard this on the way home. He feels guilty about his two sons. The next day, the chairman calls Seong-jun to a smelly black landfill. Seong-jun doesn't understand why the chairman brought him to a smelly place that everyone avoids. The chairman says that he doesn't smell anything bad, but the sweet scent of money. This will be the location of a new development in Seoul. After the election, this land will be very valuable. The chairman wants Seong-jun to win the bid and complete the construction. Coincidentally, Do-jun also has his eye on this project, but his ambitions are far greater than his grandfather's. He doesn't want to develop a new urban area. He wants to turn it into an entertainment center. Seong-jun doesn't see how this is possible. Korea is a small country, and its entertainment and culture can't be exported to other countries. But Do-jun, who came from the future, knows that Korean music will explode internationally in the next few years. Do-jun starts searching for a suitable construction company to compete with the Jin family. To get ahead, he plans on getting a controlling interest in the targeted company. Seong-jun has a conversation with his dad. He needs to win the rights to develop the new land. As long as he gets the government's funding, they can secretly buy stock in the company. Once the chairman passes away, whoever holds the most stock will be able to lead the family. Dong-ki is shocked. He doesn't know when his son became so scheming. After that, Seong-jun contacts Hayan-min and wants to invite her out. Hayan-min is very interested in Do-jun, so she wants to refuse. But when she sees Seong-jun's ambitious face, she changes her mind. To win the rights to develop the new Seoul, their grandpa asks them to predict who the next mayor will be. On the other hand, Si-hyun approaches Chang-ji, dangling the promise of donating money to help Chang-ji become mayor. When Hwa-young hears that Si-hyun wants to develop the new town, Hwa-young immediately backs down. She doesn't want to go to war with her dad. Understanding her struggles, Si-hyun says that he has a way to hide this. Hwa-young has always been looked down upon by her family. So, under the encouragement of Si-hyun, she agrees to collaborate. After that, Si-hyun tells Chang-ji all the tricks that Do-jun taught him. Simply put, they will frame the supervisor and Chang-ji in a corruption case. The target that they attack has to be carefully chosen. The target they picked was a construction company. After the scandal is revealed, the company owner is cornered. His stocks are all acquired by Do-jun and Si-hyun. Do-jun continues to meet with Chang-ji. He knows that the chairman hates it when the family gets involved in politics. If anyone wants to go down that road, the chairman will stop them. So Do-jun teaches Chang-ji how to deal with the chairman. Chang-ji directly reveals to the chairman that he has a lot of secrets about the family. If the chairman continues his antics, he doesn't mind revealing these secrets. Under Do-jun's guidance, Chang-jae beats the chairman for the first time. He not only gets the right to run for office, but also succeeds in becoming mayor. The Seoul Development Project is also stolen by the construction company. After investigating, the chairman discovers that Si-hyun is behind the construction company. He pulls strings and sends prosecutors to the company to find a mistake. The condition is to meet the person behind Si-hyun. On the other hand, Hayan-min is watching the actions of the Jin family. She sees that Do-jun's organization and Si-hyun's company are in the same building. She doesn't think this is a coincidence, so she calls Seong-jun and, at the same time, reveals to the chairman that Do-jun is the mysterious shareholder behind Si-hyun. Do-jun directly confronts Jin and says that his goal is to acquire the Sunyang group. At the same time, Do-jun meets his grandfather and admits that he is the major shareholder behind Miracle Group. The chairman gets angry and yells. He accuses him of using the car company as bait to get Sunyang Group stocks, and also forcing him to buy steel at a high price. He's been secretly directing Si-hyun like a puppet. Is his enemy really his own grandson? Do-jun admits that he was behind everything. The chairman yells, asking if he wants to take over Sunyang. Do-jun retorts that his goal is to buy Sunyang with his own money. The chairman is amused. At that age, holding just $10 million, he thinks he can do anything? Do-jun says that he knows that to Sunyang, his wealth is a drop in the bucket, and that the chairman will give young Ki the right to succeed. That's the rule. The eldest son will be the successor. But will Sunyang be the same then? Young Ki will inherit the company, but he won't inherit his leadership skills. The chairman advises Do-jun to stop and focus on the law. Otherwise, he'll prosecute Si-hyun and take back the puppet in his hand. Do-jun calmly points out all the events that have happened. If everything is exposed, the public will laugh at Chairman Jin. and think that he was behind it all. Hearing this, the chairman is shaken. After learning this, the chairman reprimands his eldest son and daughter-in-law, who try to take the blame for their son. Seong-jun also witnesses his grandfather yelling at his parents, and makes a plan. At the same time, Do-jun meets his uncle to give him the motivation to go to the Blue House and run for president. This can help Do-jun's company get the opportunity to build the digital media city. On the other hand, Do-jun's real goal in wanting Sunyang is to stop the chairman's grandsons from taking over everything peacefully, because their power and greed prevented him from returning to his family and made him lose those he loved. Meanwhile, the vice chairman's health is getting worse. It makes him worried about handling the right of succession. The assistant says that he should give the right of succession to the person who is most like him. He doesn't have to go in order, but he is afraid that doing so will turn the sons against each other. After that, Chairman Jin goes to see his youngest son, Yoon-ki, who is also Do-jun's dad. He accuses him of breaking his promise to stay away from Sunyang. Now Do-jun is standing in front of him, saying he will acquire Sunyang. He even asks the secretary to hand over power of attorney for Sunyang's medical center and development center, insinuating that his family should give up their ambitions for Sunyang Group. This angers Yoon-ki. While putting all of his efforts into building the new Sunyang in order to take over Sunyang, Do-jun receives urgent news. All the film production companies and TV stations have canceled their plans with his company. The reason is that a major advertiser has asked them to withdraw their funds, or else they will stop supporting their productions. This is Chairman Jin's doing, a warning to Do-jun. Chairman Jin sees a bright spot with potential in his eldest grandson. In addition, Seong-jun also has an impact. Seong-jun meets his uncle and delivers a psychological blow by targeting the mayor's weakness to win the construction rights. To ease the tension, Si-hyun is there as well. Thanks to Si-hyun, Do-jun remembers that in the future, there is something that doesn't need to rely on broadcasting stations. Do-jun comes up with an idea to overcome the crisis: game channels. They want to meet the major shareholder, Do-jun. He is surprised to learn that the person behind the game channel is his cousin's fiancée, Hayan Min. She wants to break off the engagement with Seong-jun because she sees how smart and capable Do-jun is. Hayan Min, who is the daughter of the editor, has the potential to sway public opinion. She gives Do-jun an attractive offer. She will move the headquarters and merge it with his digital media company. While they are discussing, there's a short circuit that causes the light bulb to explode. Do-jun grabs Hayan Min and pulls her in for a hug to protect her. She thought Do-jun would soften for her beauty, but Do-jun refused Hayan Min's proposal. He doesn't want to live his life as a pawn under her family's influence. After that, Do-jun goes to Min Young's coffee shop, but he learns that she has quit to prepare for the upcoming law exam. Do-jun sadly leaves. Coincidentally, Min Young also comes to return some things, but fate does not allow them to meet. On the other hand, after learning about Do-jun, Yoon-ki, who doesn't want to get involved with Sunyang, wants to help his son. They both support and want to protect him. Touched by their feelings, Do-jun starts to accept them as his family. The threat of Chairman Jin's death comes. He is diagnosed with a tumor in his brain. His life and death cannot be influenced by money and power. It will only depend on luck. As the future is set, Hayan Min will become Do-jun's sister-in-law. The shock was when the first day she became the wife of the Chaebol family. She has to fake a faint. What has happened? Right now, Hayan Min is preparing for the wedding with Seong-jun. While this is happening, Do-jun, who is going through difficulties, has a new idea. Do-jun meets with Chairman Ju and says that he will help him defeat Sunyang Transportation and reclaim his position as number one. He advises them to acquire the shopping channel that is being sold so that they can have a solid foundation on the front and the rear end. Chairman Jin, after hearing about this, is very motivated. At the same time, the wedding of Hayan Min and Seong-jun has taken place. The wedding is attended by many well-known guests. Right before the wedding, Seong-jun goes to meet Hayan Min and breaks the engagement. He will not follow the agreement to let her help Do-jun, because he saw that they are with each other and that Do-jun is the man she likes. He knew everything beforehand. Although she is shocked by this, Hayan Min is unable to break off the engagement due to her family's honor. She can only hold hands with Seong-jun and pretend to be a happy bride. But more surprises are waiting for her. During the family dinner after the wedding, Grandpa suddenly tells Seong-jun to work in the warehouse and take responsibility for all the failures. He will change the rules of inheritance based on ability and ownership of Sunyang stocks, so he can give the right of inheritance to someone who deserves it. Everyone is shocked, especially Young-ki. He stands up and reacts violently. After Chairman Jin leaves, Seong-jun is angry and directs his anger towards Do-jun. Right as Seong-jun is about to grab Do-jun's collar, Hayan Min pretends to faint to prevent the fight from occurring. Chairman Jin's decision has made the brothers start fighting so that everyone can prove their abilities. The secretary hands over the Sunyang subsidiaries to the three sons. The daughters are loaded with debt. Her husband suggests that she reach out to Du Jun's company because it has the best cash flow. She then goes to have a meeting with Du Jun. While at the mall, he witnesses his aunt using his mom to advertise the company's new product. Not only that, she disrespects Du Jun and reminds him that the Sunyang group only accepted his dad because it wanted to increase the nobility of their family. Then she warns them not to look at the ownership since his dad is a mistress's kid. Despite talking a big game, when it comes time to get funds to invest in the stock market during an economic downturn, Jin's third daughter has no choice but to meet with Si-hyun to ask for her company's capital. The condition is that she has to mortgage 30% of Sunyang shopping mall shares for 400 billion. The deal is complete, and before leaving, Si-hyun lets the chairman's favorite daughter know about new data technology stock. The research team thinks this company's stock will skyrocket. Without hesitation, Hwa-young gathers all the shares from all sources to invest in new data technology. For Du Jun, this isn't a surprise. According to his past life memories, this tech company's stock really did increase rapidly. In about 6 months, it can quadruple, making it a lucrative investment. However, it will later crash and burn. When Young Ki and Dong Ki find out that their younger sister is mortgaging shares, they also try to find Si-hyun to negotiate the purchase of that 30% stake. As Du Jun planned, Si-hyun demands 4 times the amount he loaned to get rid of the two brothers. Dong Ki realizes that what Du Jun wants isn't money, but Sunyang's share management rights. As Du Jun knew, the price of new data technology stock gradually drops drastically, causing a crisis for Jin's third daughter. Du Jun finds her and tells her that her two brothers are after the shares she mortgaged. This was all calculated by Du Jun to make Hwa-young gamble for real. Afterwards, she brings all the money she has left to invest. The result is Du Jun's smug smile. He's the one in control. Jin's third daughter will fall into Du Jun's hands. Du Jun unexpectedly meets with prosecutor Min Yong. They have an agreement. The computer incident in 2000, also known as the YTWOK bug, is happening. As the new millennium begins, it causes chaos worldwide. There's speculation that it may cause a disaster, because nuclear bombs and nuclear missiles may be launched. People fear there will be a huge disaster that will destroy the earth. Du Jun's older brother even makes his mother go to the supermarket to buy food to stockpile. She feels that he is too worried. But Du Jun doesn't worry. Sunyang is somewhat struggling with this incident, but in the chairman's office, a new plan is being presented to open an unlimited compensation package for businesses. Young Ki and Dong Ki hear from their secretary that this is too risky. They can't estimate how much damage it will cause. So compensating businesses without limits is a dangerous step. But the person who opened this compensation package in the chairman's name is Du Jun. He says he will be responsible for this compensation, no matter how much it is. Of course, the damaged money will be taken from Du Jun's company. He and his grandpa have a bet about this. If E2K passes smoothly, the chairman must accept a request from Du Jun. They can also see it as a graduation gift. Then, as the 20th century begins, everything goes peacefully as planned. Everything is under control. Businesses are fine. Nothing unexpected happens. Moreover, the unlimited compensation package has brought the chairman 10 billion in profits. Because of his confident grandson Du Jun, the chairman has lost his bet with his youngest grandson. He owes Du Jun a graduation gift. Grandpa asks what his grandson's request is, but Du Jun just smiles and wishes him a happy new year before leaving. At the same time, Jin's third daughter is still happy and relaxed about investing in new data technology stock, intending to get back the shares she mortgaged at Du Jun. The secretary advises her not to risk it for that small profit, but the third daughter asserts that the stock will increase by 300,001. Investment experts say that's a number never seen on the Korean stock market. They bring up the risks that could happen if the stock price suddenly drops. But his third aunt is still stubborn and greedy. Of course, that information is what Du Jun had told her. When the stock price of new data technology reaches 280,000 won, Du Jun asks Si-hyun to liquidate all the shares that Miracle owns of this company, surprising Si-hyun a bit. Sure enough, not long after, the president of New Data Technology is arrested for fraud. Of course, the stock price then immediately plummets out of control, even dropping 98% compared to its peak. Receiving this news makes his third aunt extremely dissatisfied. She turns to alcohol, losing her composure, and basically becoming a hot mess. Her secretary comes to remind her that she needs to make up for the public money that she has put into a stock investment. If she continues to postpone payments to the shopping mall investors, they will use legal measures to resolve it. His third aunt doesn't care and abuses her subordinates. It's like she's channeling her inner Cruella de Vil. And her abuse of public funds for stock investment is now in the investigation records of the prosecutor's office. The secretary says that it may be possible to handle it in time because only she and his aunt know about this. On the other hand, Min Yong has now been appointed as a prosecutor, specializing in investigating corruption crimes. But throughout her 3-month internship, she has not been assigned any cases or tasks by her chief. Disgruntled, she meets with her chief, but he says that she is still doing her job very well. It turns out that because of a scandal of a senior the year before, it caused a big controversy with public opinion about unfair treatment of women. Her presence here is just to deal with and answer reporters, showing that the law office here is very friendly to women, to erase rumors. It's just a facade for the false theme of gender equality in the legal industry, making Min Yong very dissatisfied. She can only tear up the poster to vent her anger. She's basically stuck in a real-life episode of The Office, but with way less comedy. With an unhappy heart, Min Yong receives a call from an unknown number, arranging to meet her. The person is none other than Do Jun. The two unexpectedly meet again after a period of missing each other. This meeting is not just to increase their feelings, but this is the first mission in Min Yong's career as a prosecutor. Here, Do Jun gives her the tip to investigate the suspicion of director Hua Young, who is also the third aunt of the Jin family, for embezzling public funds. Min Yong is very surprised that Do Jun is giving her the news. She didn't expect that he would help her for this reason. Min Yong doesn't want to owe him. She doesn't want to receive hospitality from a tipster, so she suggests splitting the cost of the meal. But looking at the menu, the dishes don't have prices. She forgets that the person sitting in front of her is a third-generation tycoon of Sunyang. Talk about a reality check. Min Yong is very curious, asking him if he has officially joined the family's inheritance war. So he is accusing his family of embezzling funds by using a prosecutor like her. Seeing her ask many questions, Do Jun sarcastically says, "Is it that she doesn't feel confident with a family like Sunyang? So she is worried like this?" Although she graduated as the top student nationwide and is a talent of the tax investigation team, someone newly appointed like her probably isn't strong enough. Do Jun stands up, intending to leave, but the words just now have stimulated Min Yong's self-esteem. She accepts the case. Soon after, she starts investigating. Although she doesn't find any signs of embezzlement of public funds in the flow of money, Min Yong investigates a very suspicious transaction account. At the end of October last year, a large amount of money from the shopping mall was split up and transferred into dozens of other accounts to launder the money. All that laundered money was transferred into a shell company named Sunyang Decoration. The third daughter of the Jin family had set up this account to create a cover for embezzling public funds. Min Yong then requests a search warrant for the Sunyang shopping mall. Immediately, Jin Hua Young's office is searched. Afterward, his third aunt goes to meet her husband to complain. The mayor had just been informed by his subordinates that his wife was searched. He told her to return the money to the company and settle everything. But the third aunt says that she invested it all in stocks and lost everything. She orders him to use his position as mayor to help her. Mayor Choi can't remain calm at this time. He also refuses to intervene because he is now a mayor for the first time. Seeing him dare to raise his voice to his wife, he orders her to find the chairman to ask him for help, to avoid this matter from leaking out, which will affect his political career. His third aunt shows fear for the first time. She can't face her dad, so his third aunt has no choice but to find Si Hyun to borrow money to pay off her debt from Miracle. No one gives anything for free. Si Hyun says that he will buy back 25 shares in her name at the Sunyang shopping mall for the 140 billion that she needs. Of course, his third aunt does not accept this price because Sunyang stock is valuable. But what his third aunt didn't realize was that the contract when he loaned 400 billion the time before had a clause that she didn't consider. When the stock price fluctuates and falls below 15,001, the 30% stake that she had mortgaged before will legally belong to Miracle. Hearing those words, she is angry, not wanting to lose another 25%, believing that this is an involuntary buyout, and even threatens Chairman Jin before leaving. At this time, seeing Do Jun, his third aunt flatteringly butters him up, wanting her nephew to help her because he is a major shareholder. But Do Jun refuses to help, even saying that all the power is in Sehyun's hands, not his. Moreover, the person that his third aunt went to find in the first place was Si Hyun. So his third aunt of the Jin family is standing at the risk of losing 55% of the shares of the shopping mall to her youngest nephew. Aunt Jin then goes to find her older brother. Through his words, she realizes that this is a plan that has been arranged from the start. Her older brother happily offers to help her handle the 140 billion won of the company. Before she can be moved, the condition is no different from Miracle's. she has to transfer the shares to her older brother. Seeing him often taking advantage of her misfortune, Huayang angrily kicks him with a kick before leaving. When she discovers that she has been led by the nose by her youngest nephew, his third aunt has no choice but to kneel before Chairman Jin, begging for help. But his dad doesn't believe that Du Jun has harmed his aunt, believing that she is deliberately blaming her youngest nephew, because she is the one who voluntarily went to invest in stocks. Of course, his third aunt doesn't have concrete evidence for that. Moreover, Chairman Jin has separated the shopping mall from Sunyang. If he helps her like that, it's no different than also being involved in embezzlement. Chairman Jin reproaches her, telling her to have her husband, the mayor, help her. From a poor country bumpkin without status, hasn't her husband used his wife's money to get the position he has today? Even if she cries until she runs out of tears, he won't help her. Not even 10,000 won. At the same time, it's also the day his third aunt meets with the prosecutor for the summons. His granddaughter-in-law, Hayan Min, suggests going with her. Here, his new granddaughter-in-law reveals to his third aunt about the relationship between prosecutor Min Yong and Du Jun. The two are classmates from the same course. Learning this information, his third aunt's face changes, becoming someone who fears nothing in the world. Facing prosecutor Min Yong, his third aunt Jin even says that she was harmed, that the person who spread false information about her embezzlement, that person's conspiracy is just to take Sunyang. So they deliberately approached a prosecutor like her. At the same time, Min Yong receives information that Director Jin's decoration company is not a ghost company. So the embezzlement doesn't have concrete evidence. That loss of his third aunt was, fortunately, arranged behind the scenes by his new granddaughter-in-law, Hayan Min. In an instant, she decides not to let Sunyang fall into Du Jun's hands. Because of this, Min Yong's trust in Du Jun is somewhat shaken. She makes an appointment with him to talk, wanting to know why he gave her the news. Du Jun says this because he knows that later she will become a good prosecutor, making the tycoon world fear, no matter how much power they have. On the other hand, although she has fortunately escaped the crime of embezzlement, Huayang is still being protested by the workers, wanting her to resign because she has not paid wages on time. However, the third daughter acts indifferent to the plight of the workers, and even says nasty things, infuriating Du Jun. This reminds him of his impoverished life after his mother died as Hayan Wu. His dad worked so hard to raise him and his brother. He even saw him stealing groceries to feed the family. Because of that, he had to give up his dream of college to work and earn money. Because of these painful memories, Du Jun meets with his grandpa to demand his betting reward. His grandpa accepts his proposal to hold a shareholders meeting. The meeting is about deciding whether to fire the director of the shopping mall. In the middle of it all, Jin's third daughter pushes her subordinate, the CFO, Myung Suk, to take all the blame. Though she's reluctant, she obeys the order. Du Jun then finds Myung Suk and asks her to testify against Huayang. He sees himself in her from his past life. Du Jun sympathizes with her. She's foolishly loyal to her master, but they only see her as a human shield. These words touch Myung Suk's heart. She agrees to testify at the shareholders meeting. Du Jun announces that he will present the CFO of the third daughter as a witness to the company's embezzlement. But when Si-hyun sees Myung Suk, she is kidnapped right in front of him, shocking him. The third Jin daughter is fearless as she stands before the shareholders, accusing Du Jun of spreading false information and damaging her reputation. While she's losing control, Min Yong suddenly appears. She says she has concrete evidence that Du Jun provided false information. We don't know what the information is, but the third daughter smiles smugly. But Min Yong makes a sudden turn. The evidence she presents is an audio recording of Myung Suk that she sent to the prosecutor's office. It clearly accuses the third daughter of embezzling public funds. Though she's furious, the third daughter has to give up to avoid going to prison and to live as the daughter of the Sunyang group. The third daughter has to transfer the shopping mall to Du Jun to pay off her debts. Now that he has the shopping mall, his grandpa reminds Du Jun not to be like his third aunt and trust his subordinates too much. It could be his weakness. These loaded comments from his grandpa to Du Jun show that he still doesn't have his full trust and belief. On the other hand, even though she has evidence of embezzlement by Jin's third daughter, Min Yong, she is ordered by her superiors not to prosecute the case, which makes her angry. Of course, someone like her will still find justice, but the case is immediately transferred to someone else, which makes her extremely disappointed. Afterward, Min Yong meets with Du Jun and confides in him that she is very disappointed in herself. She blames him for using her to accuse Huayang, even though he knew the case wouldn't be prosecuted. She lies and says that she will become a good prosecutor, but all of that is now buried. After saying that, Min Yong leaves. At the same time, the TV reports that the music group that Min Yong likes has finally returned after 4 years. Just like Du Jun had told her before, Du Jun immediately goes to find Min Yong, takes her hand, and runs to the place with the biggest screen to witness the news, proving that he has never lied. Min Yong is really surprised to see it. He tells her that if she doesn't believe in herself, then just believe in him. Min Yong is incredibly moved. He kisses her passionately in the middle of the street. Back to the family war after the financial crisis, Si-hyun is amazed by Du Jun's god-like predictions. He even suspects that he's an alien from another planet. The secretary says that it is because the investment company needs to look at performance coldly. Du Jun says that before long, what will determine the structure of corporate governance is currency, a means to take advantage of opportunities. Meanwhile, Jin is eagerly opening a Sunyang financial stock company. If someone owns this financial company, it will determine who owns Sunyang. The chairman made this decision because his health is getting worse. Young Ki, understanding the implications, suggests that Seong Jun has actively turned around the transportation company that he's running, and it's developing very well. Even so, the chairman shuts down his grandson and tells him that Seong Jun should focus on doing what he already does well. At the same time, a silent war is happening between the women downstairs. The mother of Seong Jun is attacked for the bankruptcy of her family. She can't stand it and starts throwing accusations back at her, warning her about everything. Grandma shows up and blames Hayan Min, and she rushes to take the blame for her mother-in-law, which makes her trust her a lot. Even though he's very busy, Du Jun still finds time to go on dates. Hearing Du Jun talk about capitalism and greed, Min Yong worries that she will prosecute Du Jun one day. Without waiting too long, the news publishes a story with the headline, "Miracle has systematically manipulated the stock price of new data technology." Min Yong now stands in front of Du Jun and issues a search warrant. The person who reported the story is none other than Dong Ki, the second son of Chairman Jin. He's planning a sinister scheme to get to Sunyang's financial company. Dong Ki manipulates the flow of Miracle's shares behind the scenes, pulling the strings of the prosecutor to stir up public opinion, causing Miracle's investors to demand refunds and suffer a lot of damage. He knows who is behind it. Du Jun then meets with his grandpa. He says that he didn't manipulate the stock like the rumors said, and someone is trying to frame him. Before Du Jun can expose him, Min Yong immediately steps in, using sharp logic to prevent the chairman from taking his grandson's side. She argues that interfering with the prosecutor's office will cause some controversy for Sunyang. He suggests that the securities company buy Miracle to reassure the investors. Chairman Jin unexpectedly agrees with that suggestion, telling his second son to price it carefully. Du Jun tries to explain that he just needs time to prove it to the prosecutor's office, and everything will return to normal. But his grandpa says that he is doing that for Sunyang's reputation, not his. In a high-stakes situation, Du Jun suggests withdrawing foreign investments and turning them into cash to solve the problem of refunds for investors. But Si-hyun doesn't agree with this risky plan, because they are all a source of huge profits for Miracle. Du Jun explains that this is the most feasible plan right now. He knows what will happen with the world's political landscape, so he believes in his choice. What happened in his past life will have to happen to Du Jun now. Not long after, a terrorist attack in the US takes place, heavily impacting the stock market. Dong Ki immediately orders his subordinates to quickly sell the items that will be affected. This is the only lifeline right now. Previously, seeing Du Jun's rational judgment, Dong Ki secretly had someone steal investment information from Miracle. Worse, all the investments in the US under Miracle are suffering huge losses. Only Miracle is safe in the midst of the crisis, because Du Jun withdrew foreign investments with Si-hyun. Du Jun is now planning a counterattack. He starts a new project, a campaign called Miracle, to democratize fund investing. He also asks the director to support the money for consolation to the survivors of the crisis under the name of Miracle. Even though the index is only at 473.12, those who can't rely on bank interest for old age will be Miracle's customers. With Miracle, the era of accumulation will pass, and investment will take its place. The three of them, Du Jun, along with Si-hyun and their third partner, eat donuts to celebrate their victory. And after just 2 weeks, their campaign has generated profits of over 4,000 trillion. Du Jun's ambition to reverse the flow succeeds. This also causes the stock index to grow significantly. Before all that, Dong Ki met with his granddaughter-in-law, asking her family's newspaper to publish news about Miracle. Then, he reminds Seong Jun to do well with what he's been assigned to do at the transportation company, to secure his grandpa's trust in his eldest grandson. Even so, the chairman still refuses to give him the newly established financial company. After settling everything, Du Jun meets Min Yong in the parking lot. She's exhausted from gathering evidence to prove that his company did not manipulate New Data's stock. Seeing his lover working so hard for him, Du-jun hugs her and promises not to let her investigate him again. Seong-jun, on the other hand, returns to his company. He heard that his grandpa is starting a financial company. It's also a good chess piece to win the Sunyang inheritance. Then, Du-jun meets with Dong-ki. After the victory of turning around the crisis, seeing his nephew's smug face, Dong-ki is furious and even raises his fist at him. But he restrains himself and asks Du-jun why he is visiting him unexpectedly. Du-jun's purpose for coming here is to buy back Sunyang securities from Dong-ki. He tells his uncle that a variety of investment organizations had previously cut ties with Sunyang securities and had to take responsibility because Dong-ki unreasonably demanded to buy 10 billion won in put options from the pension fund. The pension fund is also a major shareholder, holding 12% of Sunyang's shares. They're demanding that Dong-ki compensate them. Du-jun says he will help him solve the difficulty. Miracle will acquire Sunyang securities, which is being cornered. Dong-ki has no choice but to let Sunyang securities fall into Du-jun's hands. Dong-ki doesn't know that behind him is a secretary who is on Du-jun's side and helped him. He intentionally gave him the information about foreign investments so that the crisis would happen as it is now. Unable to swallow the bitterness, Dong-ki then returns home and yells, blaming the chairman for secretly helping his youngest grandson so that he could have the ability to make his third uncle and him crash and burn. The next day, Grandpa unexpectedly comes to find Du-jun, wanting him to go somewhere with him. On the car, he asks his grandson, "Is it really necessary to go all the way with your uncles like this?" Du-jun replies that if it's necessary, then it should be. This answer makes his grandpa laugh. Young-ki and Dong-ki also receive information that Du-jun is with the chairman at the time the appointment is about to start. They guessed his father's intention. Right then, the chairman in the car expresses his intention for Du-jun to come out to the board of directors and prepare to work there. He will consider handing over the Sunyang Financial Group to Du-jun. Before he can react, a car hits the chairman's car, causing a serious accident. In his life or death moment, Du-jun gradually understands why he can't remember anything about the life of Sunyang's third-generation youngest son. In his past life, when he was Hayan Wu, he heard that Du-jun in the past died in an accident. Everything that happened may not be able to be changed. After the accident happens, everyone receives the news all over the internet. Everyone is worried about Du-jun. The Jin family then gathers together at the hospital. Young-ki announces that the situation from the accident is very serious. Everyone should prepare themselves. The hospital director then says that the situation is quite urgent, so they can't visit the chairman, who is in a deep coma. Hearing this, Young-ki says that he should announce the chairman's situation. During this time, he is the eldest son, so he will replace the chairman. These words catch the attention of the others. The person who is being rescued and operated on is actually Assistant Ha, who helped Du-jun reveal information to Dong-ki. He also received the trust and kindness of the youngest son. Fortunately, he passed the critical point and was rescued in time. When the truck crashed into the car, Assistant Ha ran into the front of the truck. He was on his way back to get a suit for the chairman, so Du-jun and his grandpa were only slightly injured. He saved them from death by a hair. Next, the chairman's people announce some extremely important news to Du-jun. Before the police investigate, they reveal that this wasn't just a simple traffic accident. The chairman's car was targeted from the very beginning. The truck driver had a piece of paper with the chairman's license plate number in his pocket. Realizing that someone is deliberately trying to harm them, Du-jun asks the hospital director to announce that the chairman's condition is critical to everyone. Du-jun understands that what happened in his past life has to happen. He died at their hands in his past life, so as Du-jun, he won't let it happen this time. He has to survive at all costs. He sees this life as a gift, being the youngest son. During this time, the chairman's children are discussing the inheritance. Unaware that the chairman is still alive, they have a heated argument over the company's board meeting. While the chairman is on the verge of death, the children complain and blame each other for their greed. This makes Grandma angry at her awful children. As the first thing after barely escaping death, the chairman asks his secretary to frame the assassination attempt as a drunk driving accident with the police, so that everything can be closed quietly. The two grandsons decide to keep it a secret that they are safe. The chairman suspects that his three children meticulously plan to kill him. Of course, to give power to his youngest grandson, they won't let Du-jun go. Grandpa will definitely return to the shareholders meeting to surprise the person behind it. Because of the accident, Du-jun knows about the dangerous tumor inside his grandpa's head. So he hurriedly established the financial company to pave the way for his youngest grandson to take over Sunyang. Chairman Jin doesn't show any fear. He happily says that Sunyang's cars are really top-notch, getting crushed like that, and no one inside was hurt. Du-jun empathizes with his grandpa's pride. He says he will have reporters write about this issue. Du-jun then meets Min-young to ease her worries. Seeing his presence, she also knows that this wasn't just a normal accident. Some information then leaks out about the chairman's survival. Mayor Choi, through his connections, also learns that the chairman is testing his children. He immediately informs his wife and tries hard to care for his father-in-law to gain his trust. Si-hyun sees Du-jun and is also very surprised. He talks about his return and the chairman's intentions for the day of the board of directors appointment. Si-hyun will be in charge of Sunyang Securities and the director position of the financial shares immediately after it is handed over. Hwa-young, after realizing the problem, goes to find the hospital director, forcing him to let her see her father. When she learns that he is doing okay, she meets Dong-ki, her brother, who is also arguing with the hospital director. Pressuring him with their words, the hospital director accidentally blurts out that the chairman has a terminal illness, so he can't stop them. They are forced to let them see the chairman. Du-jun then tells his dad about this. His mom overhears and is terrified that this wasn't an accident. She wants to report it to the police, but Du-jun's dad reassures her that the chairman is only trying to protect his youngest grandson. Even so, his mom wants more bodyguards to protect her son. Du-jun's older brother then comes to take care of him. Seeing the fierce battle to seize assets, his brother says that Du-jun should just keep everything from their parents. He doesn't want them to fight each other as a family. Du-jun feels that his family is really warm. Afterward, Hwa-young and Dong-ki come to see their dad, but they are blocked and sent away by their youngest brother, Du-jun's dad, in front of their dad's hospital room. Because the Sunyang Medical Center had previously been given to him by the chairman, it is now under the management of Du-jun's dad. The three Jin siblings are still ambitious and greedy, discussing with each other to come up with a solution to seize Sunyang and not let it fall into Du-jun's hands. At this time, the chairman is investigating the accident and the person who plotted to kill him. The person who carried out the crime was quickly captured by the chairman's side, but the mastermind still cannot be identified. The transaction was done through a painting from the room of paintings of Sunyang's eldest daughter-in-law. This person was instructed to attack the chairman through a note. The payment would be made with a valuable painting to be converted into money. Paying with valuable paintings would not leave information about the transaction history. The person giving the order had calculated to hide their identity. Soon after, prosecutor Min-young goes to the art gallery of the eldest daughter-in-law, Hayan Min, to investigate the painting. Hayan Min says that the painting was actually from her room, but it was stolen a month ago. The prosecutor is skeptical of her contradictory answer. Afterward, Hayan Min meets with her husband, Song-jun. She asks him if he had something to do with the painting. Because Seong-jun had taken this painting away, he said it was to give to someone important. After learning everything, Du-jun brings this news to his grandpa. The conclusion is that the painting belonged to his granddaughter-in-law, and the mastermind behind the assassination attempt on chairman Jin is his eldest grandson, Song-jun. Upon receiving this news, Chairman Jin suddenly laughs loudly. He then almost goes insane. Even more shocking, he no longer recognizes who his youngest grandson is. To the shock of Du-jun and Secretary Lee, Chairman Jin has really lost his memory of Du-jun. After his grandpa doesn't recognize him, Du-jun calls the hospital director. He says that Chairman Jin is in a delirious state. He is distracted and lacks awareness, so he cannot control his actions. This is a state of impaired brain function, also a sequelae of the chronic disease he is carrying. Because of the accident that just happened, he has mild bleeding, causing delirium. Things get really serious when the chairman demands to hold a company meeting at 9:00 p.m. Looking disheveled. Recognizing his bad situation, Chairman Jin excitedly demands to take medicine and have surgery, but this could endanger his life. The chairman cannot accept the truth. He doesn't want to be absent from the shareholders meeting tomorrow. At this time, Du-jun says that if his health condition is revealed, not only the shareholders meeting but even the chairman's seat, he might not hold firmly. At this time, Grandpa realizes what's happening and tries to regain his composure. Seeing his grandpa like that, Du-jun is extremely sad. After that, what Du-jun needs to worry about is finding a way for the shareholders meeting to take place tomorrow without the presence of his grandpa. Du-jun asks the director if he can keep the director position of the financial company through voting. Knowing he can't win through voting, Du-jun finds his cousin Seong-jun. The youngest son asks his cousin to vote in favor of establishing the financial company so that his cousin doesn't refuse him. The youngest son reveals that his grandpa is not in a coma and is still completely awake. He mentions the accident that happened to the chairman, and in reality, someone had a hand in it to harm him and the chairman. Grandpa had set a trap, the shareholders meeting, for the real culprit to be revealed. He also says the evidence of the culprit is in his hands. Hearing this, Song-jun is a little worried. Afterward, the shareholders meeting takes place. Si-hyun is the chairman of the meeting about establishing the financial company. Of course, Sunyang votes in favor of this before the shock of his second and third uncles, not understanding what their eldest grandson is planning. Right after the establishment of the company is approved, it comes to the vote for the CEO position. Besides Chief Lee and the person trusted by his grandpa, Do-jun, their cousin's purpose is revealed. Seong-jun nominates his dad for the CEO position. Then, he comes to the youngest son and whispers about how his grandpa is in poor health and not very alert. Hearing this makes Do-jun bewildered, thinking that the youngest son would lose heavily in the confrontation with the father and son of Seong-jun. Chief Lee reports that the chairman is on his way to attend the meeting. Before everyone can wait long, Chairman Jin then actually appears in a very alert and healthy state, as if there had never been an accident. The situation is now reversed. With the chairman's endorsement, all the shareholders, including Dong Ki, have to approve the nomination of the youngest son, Do-jun, to sit in the CEO chair of Sunyang Financial Company. The eldest grandson, Seong-jun, is shocked, while his grandpa applauds enthusiastically. To gain this power before all the shareholders, Chairman Jin had privately met with the hospital director. He asked to be Yang Cheol for 2 hours to be able to attend the meeting. Even though the hospital director said that taking medicine to suppress the symptoms of cerebrovascular disease could be life-threatening, he defied death. After the meeting ends, Chairman Jin happily accepts congratulations from everyone. He also interacts with and reminds each of his children to prove that he is still healthy enough to watch their every move. But when his grandpa encourages him, his eldest grandson still doesn't believe it. He even asks him a question about when the second oil shock took place. At this time, the chairman begins to show signs of instability. He vaguely answers, noticing his grandpa's embarrassment so that no one would become suspicious. Do-jun quickly goes to save him, handing everything over to his dad and asking to take the chairman home to rest. The chairman is angry with his eldest grandson's arrogant attitude. He gets angry and shouts, then uncontrollably urinates in his pants. Do-jun unexpectedly sees his grandpa's actions. Just then, there is a janitor with them, so that his grandpa's secret isn't revealed to anyone. Do-jun quickly kicks over a nearby bucket of water. He deliberately argues loudly with his grandpa, while patting him on the shoulder to comfort him. Then, Do-jun apologizes to the janitor for being a bit hot-tempered, and personally cleans up the dirty water on the floor. Chairman Jin sadly looks at his youngest grandson. On the other hand, in a private room, Seong-jun, along with his uncles, is arguing and questioning the chairman's appearance. Seong-jun says that his grandpa was never in a coma. The reason he lied was that he suspected that someone was behind wanting to kill him. That accident was the reason. So his grandpa set a trap and was secretly waiting. Anyone who hinders the establishment of the financial company is the culprit behind it. This is what Do-jun had told him back then. Everyone is shocked. Afterward, everyone suspects each other, but no one admits to being the culprit. To their dad, they are just hungry tigers lying in wait to drain his pockets and kill him. At this time, Prosecutor Meng is also trying to investigate the real culprit and the place where the painting was transacted, which was used as funds for a failed murder transaction. She meets with the granddaughter-in-law of the Jin family to find more information. But here, she only gives the prosecutor a business card from another famous art gallery. That is also where the painting transaction took place. When searching the art gallery, the chairman's chief discovers a seal with a special, unique mark, and the note that pointed out the car to kill the chairman had an identical seal. Through investigation, Do-jun's people discover that the seal is similar to the signature on the paintings of Chairman Jin's wife. In a shocking turn of events, the person behind the chairman's accident is his wife. Do-jun is shocked to hear this news. His grandma then goes to the hospital to visit the chairman, as if he knew who was behind it. Here, he unexpectedly interrogates her, scolding her and exposing her as the one who decided to kill him. She fearfully kneels, crying and begging him for forgiveness. The reason she did that was because she didn't want to stand by and watch him hand over the inheritance to the family of Do-jun's father, who is not related to her by blood. Just when she thought her bad deeds had been exposed, the chairman suddenly fell into a delirious state. He keeps demanding to eat, which makes her very surprised. She realizes that her husband is not alert. She is very pleased and decides to take the chairman home, so that she can easily control him. Although Do-jun wants to stop her, he can't do anything. After taking her husband home, thinking that she has a firm hold on the victory, she happily tells her children to cook and prepare to throw a party. She calls all the children home to announce the chairman's health status, but excludes Do-jun's family. As everyone arrives and Grandma is about to speak, Do-jun appears right on time. He gives her a certificate, confirming the chairman's stable health. It also has a business card from the art gallery. where the transaction related to the chairman's accident took place. Grandma feels like Du Jun has discovered her wrongdoings. At this time, she has to remain silent about the chairman's health. Jin tells his children that he is still completely healthy after the accident, shocking everyone. Du Jun then meets with his grandma privately. He presents evidence that she was the one who told the hitman, and the note contained her seal. The youngest son makes a deal. Grandma must keep his illness a secret, especially from anyone in the family, until the shareholders' meeting ends. If his secret is revealed, Du Jun will expose her crimes, and the fake painting used for the transaction to the prosecutor. Grandma hates the attitude of her grandson, who is not related to her by blood, but she has to accept his offer. Even though she feels resentful, after settling his grandma's affairs, Du Jun visits Chairman Jin. His grandpa deliberately asks Du Jun if Chief Lee has investigated the culprit behind him. Does he know who it is? Du Jun is at a loss for words. He says he hasn't found the person behind it yet, but he will let him know if he has any news. Chairman Jin then asks him if his children all want to inherit Sunyang. He really wants him to share the mystery behind it, but the youngest son says it's not the right time to say it. On the other hand, Hayan Min is still suspicious about who her husband gave her original painting to, and she is curious that the assassination transaction was a fake painting. She asks Seong Jun about who was behind it. He denies it, then comforts her about the hardships, since becoming the granddaughter-in-law of the Jin family. Even so, Hayan Min pushes him away without any emotion. Seong Jun then finds his father-in-law, the powerful owner of the famous newspaper. He realizes that his son-in-law has a big plan that needs his power. Sure enough, a series of newspapers have bad news about Chairman Jin's poor management at Sunyang Motors. The major shareholders are calling for Chairman Jin to participate in a hearing. They voted overwhelmingly against him. Moreover, this forces him to lower the stock price of Sunyang Motors. Chairman Jin believes that this is not really a move by the shareholders, but a rebellion by the Jin princes. Du Jun also knew this early on. The reason the Jin princes brought up Sunyang Motors was just to get to Du Jun. They need to compensate for the economic losses from the recent scandal, which is, of course, the Sunyang financial company that Du Jun is running. Because the chairman is the one who appointed the youngest son, any losses that occur will easily embarrass him. The shareholders' meeting will take place in June. In May, they will launch a new car model. If it fails, the stock price will be disastrous. The shareholders are angry, so this will be a difficult time. At this time, Du Jun has a calculation in his head. Knowing that the shareholders' meeting will take place in June reminds him of an important data point. On the other hand, Chairman Jin is now agonizing over the survival of Sunyang Motors. It is his spirit and the foundation of everything. But now people see it as something elusive and think that he is autocratic. Moreover, his son is the head of those who think that way. At the same time, Du Jun manages to hear his grandpa's agonies. He says that Sunyang's cars are not the cars that people want to buy. Compared to what Sunyang Motors offers, countless other brands are better. The upcoming Apollo Sunyang model may be a car, but it is still too expensive for buyers who pay 500 million. Therefore, to make buyers open their wallets to buy a car, they need to create a greater attraction. We will sell the attraction instead of the car. Du Jun asks his grandpa to entrust the Apollo project to him. He promises not to let anyone see his expectations as wishful thinking or autocratic. To do that, Du Jun has come up with a bold plan. He is targeting the World Cup that will take place in 2002. He plans to give a large number of Apollo cars to the national team to gain attention, seeing it as an award until the home team reaches the semifinals. When everyone cheers enthusiastically, they will remember their Apollo. Everyone laughs at Du Jun's marketing plan to promote the new car line. They have never won in the group stage, so reaching the semifinals is difficult for them. But in fact, Du Jun is taking advantage of the upcoming 2002 World Cup because he knows in advance that South Korea will reach the semifinals. Next, Du Jun wants to partner with Sunyang Card to offer installment packages to customers to increase demand for car purchases. However, Sunyang Card refuses to cooperate in developing the group's cars. They only want to connect with a subsidiary with high brand recognition, such as Sunyang Electronics. It's not hard for Du Jun to realize that Young Ki influenced this. He makes a big move and decides to buy the Sunyang Card in Miracle's name. At the same time, granddaughter-in-law Hayan Min brings tea to his grandpa. At this time, the chairman is delirious. He mistakes his granddaughter-in-law for Dong Ki's mother, who is Du Jun's grandmother. He even says that he will hand over the Sunyang group to his youngest son, Du Jun's dad. Discovering this, the granddaughter-in-law is shocked, unable to believe what she just heard. Just then, Du Jun returns and sees that something is wrong. He quickly makes an excuse to take the chairman elsewhere. The grandmother sees her granddaughter-in-law with him and is a little suspicious. But the granddaughter-in-law acts like nothing happened. His grandpa then meets with Du Jun. He unexpectedly tells him to stop the Apollo project. Just then, Chief Lee comes to tell him that the chairman has planned to sell Sunyang Motors, even though it's been his lifelong ambition. The chairman thinks that if he does that, the public and the shareholders will have no reason to object to him being the director of the financial company. Du Jun is very bewildered. He says that if he does that, everyone will remember Sunyang Motors as Chairman Jin's mistake. He hopes that he will trust him, because if the upcoming World Cup is successful, everyone will recognize his expectations. Chairman Jin thinks that what he said is even more wishful than his wishes. Feeling that he can't convince him, Du Jun offers to bet with him. If the team reaches the semi-finals, he will not sell Sunyang Motors, and vice versa. The chairman then understands that among his many children and grandchildren, only his youngest son thinks of him. He wants to revise his will afterward. Although the opening ceremony has just taken place, Du Jun has banners hung everywhere with the words, "Congratulations on South Korea's first victory," and a picture of Sunyang Motors. His brother thought Du Jun had written it wrong, but the youngest son smugly said that they would have their first win. And sure enough, South Korea has brought home glorious victories. Du Jun's whole family happily joins in cheering for their country's victory. With those consecutive victories, Sunyang Motors is also in the spotlight. All attention is now focused on Apollo, as it has been accompanying and encouraging the national team to the quarterfinals. Young Ki is shocked and excited. At the same time, Apollo's light vehicle sales are breaking records, selling the most in the shortest amount of time. Everyone is happy and looking forward to the next results. On the other hand, Seong-jun exploits his wife's curiosity. His granddaughter-in-law then finds his grandpa, wanting to know what medicine he is taking to treat his illness. While she is searching, she is discovered by his grandma. She says that he mistook Yoon Ki's mother for her, and that he will give the inheritance to his youngest grandson. The granddaughter-in-law also mentions the grandmother using fake paintings at the art gallery. This makes her very worried. Before she can bring the good news to show off to his grandpa, Du Jun finds him lying motionless on the floor and runs to his side. His grandma and granddaughter-in-law come out and are very startled. Those days in the hospital, the chairman finally passed away, to the shock of the entire family. He passed away at the age of 76. Everyone sends the chairman to his final resting place. At this time, the only granddaughter of his, Yi Jun, who is volunteering abroad, also returns home after hearing the news of her grandpa's death. She is a new generation female leader noticed by the United Nations. The Sunyang family is in turmoil, because they heard that the chairman had recently revised his will. He said that it was his last effort to protect Sunyang sustainably. When everyone is present, it is time for the will to be announced. According to the will, everyone will have a share in stocks or real estate, except for Du Jun, who does not inherit anything. Even though the chairman had almost intended to hand over the Sunyang group to Du Jun, when the day he passed away, he was the last person with him. This shocks everyone. Si-hyun knows and keeps asking Du Jun, but he doesn't expect that even Du Jun is extremely depressed with his grandpa's decision. He doesn't understand what he's thinking. What is he in his eyes? Afterward, he angrily leaves. He remembers the last time he visited him in the hospital, when he announced that the national team had reached the semi-finals. After hearing this good news, it was also the moment that Chairman Jin closed his eyes to Du Jun's shock. After the will, the official heir has not yet been decided. Therefore, at this time, the chairman's wife, who is also his grandma, meets the rest of the children. She unexpectedly announces that she holds 17% of Sunyang life insurance shares. She is fully capable of helping one of her two sons to the chairman's chair, but still wants to see their actions. His third uncle, after hearing the news, goes to meet Du Jun's dad. She says that she will hand over her small inherited shares to Du Jun so that he can compete with his uncles for power, in exchange for Du Jun returning the Sunyang shopping mall to her. Du Jun then talks about this with Du Jun and the information that his grandma holds 17% of insurance shares. He also suggests suing for Du Jun's inheritance rights, because only then will his youngest son be able to win in the shareholders meeting, because his youngest son is the person he recognized, and Sunyang is his grandpa's lifelong passion. He doesn't want to give it to his uncles. His dad wants to bring the surveillance camera footage from his room when he was delirious as evidence to sue, arguing that he wrote the will while he was not alert. But Du Jun doesn't agree with that. He also tells Chief Lee to delete that video. He doesn't want his illness to be exposed. In the end, his youngest son still wants to protect his honor. Si-hyun and Du Jun then sit down to analyze everyone's shares, and the possibility that Du Jun can win. At this time, his grandma's side learns that prosecutor Min Yong is still trying to investigate the fake painting transaction to cause the death of the chairman and his youngest son. To warn her, Grandma has someone detonate Min Yong's car. But fortunately, Du Jun's people arrive in time to save her. Du Jun then warns his grandma about her actions, wanting her to be careful and stop harming the prosecutor. Not long after the conversation ends, his grandma receives a call from Min Yong, asking about the transaction related to the chairman's accident. Unable to let everything be exposed, she urgently calls Du Jun for help. And of course, his condition is the 17% stake she holds. Even though she is furious, his grandma has no choice but to agree with Du Jun. Hearing the shocking news, Dong Qi and his third uncle came to blame their mother. They don't believe the truth and keep complaining, but she remains silent. Next, Seong Jun hears from his wife about how she knows the reason his grandma transferred her shares to Du Jun. He brings this to his dad. As the eldest son of Chairman Jin, after hearing his mother explain with a distressed look, Young Qi's next action is to meet with prosecutor Min Yong, specifically pointing out his mother as the person behind the accident. The real evidence she wants is in the hands of Miracle's director, Jin Do-jun. After receiving the shares from his grandma, Do-jun had secretly arranged for his dad to send her abroad for a while to avoid police investigation. In the car, Do-jun's dad doesn't stop complaining about how his mom treated him so badly back then, because he wasn't her own. But he also thanks her for raising him all that time. Do-jun's grandma gets emotional and can't hold back her tears because of what she did. Knowing this, Min Yong is extremely disappointed in her boyfriend. From here on out, their relationship is on the verge of breaking up. She thinks that to maintain his position, he will become even more corrupt. On the other hand, Seong Jun is suspicious of his wife. He asks her if she is planning to kill him, like his grandma did to his grandpa. Hayan Min takes out a pregnancy test with 2 lines. She says that if anyone stops this baby from sitting in the chairman's chair of Sunyang, she will do what your grandma did and take everyone down for her child. They need to go in the right direction from now on, starting with Seong Jun. This makes him very pleased. Sunyang also goes to meet his dad, comforting him, saying that he doesn't need to worry because he has secured victory in this game. On the other hand, the day of the shareholders meeting has arrived. Of course, Do Jun still has to participate to win the position of director of Sunyang Finance. There are 2 candidates, Chief Lee and Do Jun. But before the vote takes place, Song Jun has someone send a text message to the shareholders about how Do Jun caused trouble in his grandpa's hospital room because he was dissatisfied with the will. Do Jun then speaks out to deny it, not knowing how to prove it. Seong Jun comes up with a solution. They will review the camera footage in the chairman's VIP room. Before he can speak, Do Jun is shocked because Chief Lee suddenly stabs him in the back. He says that Do Jun ordered the deletion of that false video, and also presents a recording, shocking everyone. It turns out that when Chairman Jin was ill, Chief Lee had secretly expressed his intention to cooperate with Seong Jun to report the chairman's condition. In return, he wants a small share to enjoy his old age. The person that Seong Jun gave the painting to was him. As a result, Chief Lee retains his position as director of the financial company. Young Qi and Dong Qi are drinking, thinking that they have succeeded in making Chief Lee a puppet and exposing Do Jun's disloyal name to the shareholders. Do Jun can't have more shares to compete for the inheritance. He won't dare to be arrogant anymore. But the shock doesn't stop there. As soon as he receives the director position, Chief Lee is stabbed in the back by Seong Jun. He brings a contract that accuses him of embezzlement under a borrowed name, forcing him to resign, considering it a retirement allowance. Although he feels injustice because he has contributed to Sunyang for 50 years, he has no other choice. The financial company has returned to Seong Jun's hands. Next, Uncle Choi holds a press conference to propose that everyone oppose the business separation law, preventing the establishment of Sunyang Finance. He believes that Sunyang Finance was established to accelerate the inheritance stage of the illicit tycoon world to evade inheritance tax on assets. Immediately, Sunyang Finance has to stop operating. In the face of this situation, the Jin brothers may lose 1,000 billion to pay inheritance tax. The company's stock also plummets quickly. Sunyang stands on the brink of collapse. Of course, the person who can come up with this plan is the youngest son. Mayor Choi agrees with him because he can also strengthen his position in the hearts of the people through this matter. At the same time, a USB is sent to Do Jun. In it is his grandpa's will for him. The video is his grandpa's reproach because he tried to find a way to keep Sunyang Motors for his sake. Even though he was afraid of him, he still wanted to buy back Sunyang. Since he had that thought, he had nothing to lose. Finding a way to survive in such a chaotic battle is how he can protect what he has built throughout his life. Despite his state of poor health, when asked who Do Jun is, the chairman answered with a beaming smile that he is his grandson, and also the person most like him. Hearing his grandpa's words, Do Jun cannot hold back his tears. Besides the USB, his grandpa also left him a key. It opens a set of files related to a company called Microproject. Looking at the documents, Du Jun remembers that in his past life, he had discovered that these documents were overdue. He reported to Seong Jun that this was a ghost company, and someone had used this company to transfer Sunyang's assets abroad. Seong Jun ordered him to collect these assets abroad. Du Jun now meets with Chief Lee. He says this is what the chairman had prepared for a long time, leaving it for Sunyang's successor. No one knows about its existence. It's a slush fund that isn't subject to inheritance tax on assets. Du Jun is skeptical of the final loyalty that Chief Lee has for him. He says that he doesn't want Sunyang to fall into the hands of Dong Qi or Young Qi. He wants to follow Du Jun. At this time, the Jin brothers appear united on the surface, working together, but behind their backs. Each of them and their children come up with ways to find more shares from Sunyang to take the lead. In this situation, Du Jun decides to sell the Sunyang card company that he had bought before. Hearing the shocking news, Dong Qi contacts Du Jun and asks why he wants to sell. Du Jun only answers that after the recent incident, he no longer has ambitions with Sunyang. What is important to him now is money and miracle. Young Qi and Seong Jun also contact Du Jun to buy back the Sunyang card from him. The two brothers are secretly engaged in a dogfight with each other to get the Sunyang card. Then Du Jun gives Dong Qi a price of 1,600 billion. The youngest son offers Dong Qi to pay in 2 installments of 800 billion, attaching Sunyang company shares to mortgage them. He also suggests receiving black money as a slush fund. Of course, Dong Qi falls into his trap. To tempt Du Jun even more, Dong Qi does not refuse to give him the contact information of a person who had worked since the time of the late chairman. Dong Qi had used some empty customer accounts, exploiting Sunyang chemistry and securities to establish a slush fund. His daughter also volunteers in other countries, but all in tax havens. Not long after, the card crisis begins to explode, and Dong Qi also falls into a crisis. He has to stop cash withdrawals, which also causes the stock price to plummet. Sunyang card is on the verge of bankruptcy. This is not too surprising, because Du Jun knew this in advance. Sunyang card's bankruptcy means that Du Jun will lose the remaining 800 billion from the transaction. But that is not too big of a problem for him, because he is holding the meager shares of the company that Dong Qi had mortgaged before. Because of these shares, Young Qi finds Du Jun again. He pretends to be a kind person. He says that he will pay the remaining amount and the company's shares for Dong Qi, so that his nephew can have more money. But Du Jun knows that this is what Young Qi needs in the upcoming shareholders meeting to take control of Sunyang. At this time, he asks for a price of 1,600 billion instead of the remaining 800 billion. To sit in the chairman's chair, Young Qi does not hesitate to sign the approval papers with Du Jun. At the same time, in the family home where he lived in his past life, there is also a Hayan Wu who still looks like him in his past life. He is working part-time for money, borrowing money everywhere to take care of his brother, who is in the hospital. Hayan Wu's dad, wanting to help, took out a private loan to take care of his son. Discovering this, he is furious and raises his voice at his dad. He can only feel helpless. He is very busy because he has to scramble to find work, making a living, to the point that he is too sleepy while driving. He has to slap himself in the face. Seeing this, the customer is frightened and kicks him out of the car. Du Jun, who is nearby, sees the young man being bullied and runs out to help. At this time, the two unexpectedly look at each other. The two meet each other in the same timeline, with two different circumstances, between clear wealth and poverty. The truths about the connection between the youngest son and his past life have been revealed. The mystery of a sudden death befalls Du Jun when the chairman's chair of Sunyang is within reach. To discuss normalizing Sunyang card. Sunyang card is weighing a huge debt on its shoulders, with a high risk of leading to bankruptcy. Here, the largest shareholder of Miracle, Du Jun, is also present to buy back the card at a price that is much more profitable than when he sold it. Miracle will be responsible for the losses that are being shouldered, along with the condition of the Blue House. The condition is to reapply the debt adjustment system, to pay off all overdue credit card debt, so that those with bad debt can have a new start. Even though the Blue House doesn't accept it because there is no amnesty for overdue credit debt, Du Jun says that he will buy back all of Sunyang and Daeyoung cards, and resolve all bad debt. At the same time, the Blue House's reputation in the hearts of the people will be increasingly strengthened. Through this deal, Du Jun has successfully negotiated what is happening. It has also been a year since the death of the late chairman. Young Qi has been running the group, substituting for the chairman. Because he holds a large number of shares after the sale with Du Jun, he is also the one holding the position of chairman of the group. After today's memorial service, Young Qi wants to re-establish the rules of inheritance. The eldest son will be given inheritance rights, not based on the number of shares held, as the late chairman had changed. This has also been part of the calculations of Seong Jun and his wife in the past. That way, their young son will naturally inherit the group, according to the rules of succession. Hayan Min, his wife, is also looking forward to it every day, thinking that everything will go smoothly. But at this time, Dong Ki receives information that 2 parts of the original company's shares were just bait. Someone had used the Sunyang card as bait to lure Young Ki and Dong Ki. The person who bought back Sunyang card and paid off all of the company's huge debt, also currently has become the largest major shareholder of the company, is none other than Du Jun. He also meets with Young Ki privately to admit this, dealing a painful blow that shakes Young Ki's position as chairman. Before, he had almost taken over all of the group's management rights. After hearing the news that his dad had lost his position as a major shareholder of the group to Du Jun, Seong Jun angrily goes to meet his dad. Seeing him planning to drown his worries with alcohol, he grabs the glass and throws it down, blurting out that in his heart, he has always looked down on his dad. He had tried not to show it so that his grandpa would see it, for fear that he would rethink the inheritance matter. Young Ki believes that even if Du Jun holds the shares in his hands, he can't do anything because he holds the management rights. But Seong Jun tells him that the era of business has changed. The rights of shareholders are now really important. With only one step left to win the management rights, Du Jun will likely become the official owner of Sunyang. At the same time, to celebrate this victory, Du Jun wants to open champagne with someone, but he tells himself that he is happy alone. Afterward, he couldn't help but go to the familiar street. Here, he sees a silhouette of Min Yong, but Du Jun can only watch her without daring to say a word. At the same time, Uncle Choi, who is now Minister of Justice, to further strengthen his position and power with the people on the issue of corruption, orders the expansion of the investigation scale related to illegal campaign funds for figures in the financial world. His wife's family has asked their brother-in-law to investigate non-publicly because they are all family. It's only been 30 years since his wife's family has been looking at him with a wary eye. He says that he is the one who directs the prosecutor's office to investigate fairly, so he will not be able to favor them, even if they are his wife's family. He only reminds them that they don't need to worry too much, because if they happen to be involved in campaign funds, they only need to prove that it's more like insurance money than a transaction amount. His brother-in-law also mentions the creation of a slush fund by the Sunyang family, surprising everyone. Before letting his brother-in-law leave, Dong Ki doesn't forget to find his nephew, who is now the Minister of Justice, to help his youngest nephew. Of course, it's not a very good thing. On TV, lawyer Kang, an advisor to the opposition party, is discovered to have received 15 billion in cash from Dae-Young Group to pass on to candidates of the opposition party. A moment later, the Central Investigation Department of the prosecutor's office issued an emergency arrest warrant for Du Jun to prevent him from destroying evidence or fleeing the country, like in the past. Remarkably, Du Jun meets the girl he loves again in the interrogation room, as a prosecutor and a suspect. Facing this, Du Jun is very calm. Min Yong gives him a statement from lawyer Kang. He says that he received 10 billion in cash through Assistant Ha, the secretary of Director Du Jun at Miracle. There is also the transaction phone number of Assistant Ha in lawyer Kang's history. Next, Chief Ha is also summoned for questioning. He is the one who transferred the money to lawyer Kang. That is also the reason that Du Jun is involved and arrested, because his assistant will follow his orders unconditionally. But Assistant Ha doesn't specifically name Du Jun as the one giving the orders, making her confused at Du Jun's question. At this time, Dong Ki comes to meet Si Hyun, giving him the top secret records of the directors of Sunyang Company, wanting Si Hyun to bring them to his side. The goal is to exaggerate the rumors of power struggles between the Sunyang brothers to push the stock to a high level. Dong Ki also promises to split the profits from there with Si Hyun. When negotiations fail, he threatens him, saying that Du Jun will be criminally punished, and the person who is in power to give the orders is the son-in-law of Sunyang. Even so, Si Hyun still refuses to betray Du Jun. Dong Ki angrily criticizes his assistant, Director Baek. He is the one who is always by his side, looking at the horoscopes for Dong Ki. Dong Ki's favorite daughter also learns the reason why he always sees accurate horoscopes for himself. He is embezzling public funds to maintain the profit margin. Of course, Dong Ki does not hesitate to fire him. Before leaving, Assistant Baek doesn't forget to look at the last horoscope this month for Dong Ki, telling him to pay attention, or he will be monitored and betrayed. Hearing this, Dong Ki can only laugh. At the prosecutor's office, Min Yong is also fiercely investigating Du Jun's case. She asks her colleagues to investigate the movements of Assistant Ha in detail, because she has a feeling that someone like Du Jun would not be easily summoned to the prosecutor's office like this. Min Yong suspects that this is a trap. The video of Assistant Ha transferring money to the lawyer is quickly found. In it, there is also another strange subject. At the same time, that strange subject is none other than Director Baek, the subordinate that Dong Ki just fired. He comes to the prosecutor's office to turn himself in. He testifies that the person behind this, transferring the illegal funds, is the person he has been working for, Vice President Dong Ki. Director Baek also adds that Dong Ki gave the job to Do Jun's assistant Ha, because he was the person whom Dong Ki had planted in Miracle. He still often goes back and forth to the vice president's office to receive work whenever there are new instructions. After Director B's testimony, they conclude that the money, more than 10 billion that Assistant Ha had transferred into the illegal fund, was established by Dong Ki of the Jin family, not Do Jun. He also gives her concrete evidence. The prosecutor's office then investigates, recording everything just as Director Baek had confessed. Dong Ki is then summoned for questioning, but he denies all charges, only presenting his lawyer's rebuttals. Amid the tense situation, Dong Ki's wife comes to ask for help from her older brother, but Young Ki coldly and decisively cuts off ties, determined to eliminate Dong Ki in the race to win business rights. With that, Seong Jun has been arranging and devising ways for his dad, so that he can gradually take over the economic and financial power. Because he was turned back by his older brother, Dong Ki's family decides to go all the way, causing his older brother's family to also be investigated for the issue of the slush fund. Not long after, Young Ki's people announce that the prosecutor's office has a search warrant for Sunyang Company. Thinking that everything had been arranged, Young Ki and his son did not expect that they would investigate the market on his mother's side in Seong Jun's family. In one instance of lording over his sister-in-law, she had inadvertently revealed information about buying shares of the company to help her husband sit in the chairman's chair. The news about the search spreads, and the headlines talk about the Jin brothers fighting over power. Min Yong realizes it was all part of Do Jun's plan. He deliberately walked into the trap to make the prosecutor investigate his uncles. Min Yong asks about what's next. Do Jun proposes getting back together, promising he'll never be as bad as she thinks. Feeling she doesn't believe him, he proposes a bet, saying they'll rely on luck to decide. If female athlete Mai Ran wins a silver medal, they'll get back together. He says it's based on luck, but Do Jun knew this would happen. Later, Assistant Ha and Si Hyun welcome Do Jun home. It was all a carefully orchestrated plan. From Dong Ki helping create the slush fund, to the video of Assistant Ha transferring money, to sending information about Director Baek's embezzlement to his favorite daughter, then approaching Director Baek to present the matter, were all within Do Jun's calculations. If he has control, he will be the owner of Sunyang. As predicted, the next step in Do Jun's plan involves his uncle, Choi. After the uproar between the Jin brothers, the investigation of the election fund became an investigation of the Sunyang group. Faced with the prosecutor's accusations, Young Ki wants to keep everyone and the employees from being shaken by the news. In an internal meeting, Young Ki unexpectedly lets his son Seong Jun take the fall as the Sunyang representative, stepping forward to resolve the legal responsibility with the media. Upset and angry about his dad's actions, wanting to keep Sunyang while sacrificing his son, Seong Jun doesn't give in. Thanks to his wife's suggestion, in front of the press and reporters, Seong Jun says that all the problems with the slush fund are his dad's responsibility. He is only representing himself and answering. Hearing this, Young Ki is furious with his son. He curses and abuses him. From here, the two formally turn against each other. Seong Jun says that if it weren't for him and his grandpa, his dad wouldn't have been able to keep this position to this day. He demands that he accept the prosecutor's investigation and transfer all the shares to him. He will face Do Jun, but Young Ki scoffs. You think Do Jun will see you as an opponent? Hearing this, Seong Jun angrily leaves. While Sunyang is being criticized because of Young Ki and Dong Ki's scandals about evading inheritance tax and creating illegal slush funds, Do Jun announces that he will donate 700 billion of the inheritance received from the late Chairman Jin to return the money to society. This is seen as a chance to reverse public opinion of the group. Soon after the news of Do Jun donating his inheritance, the people warmly welcomed him. He has transformed himself into a noble symbol of the tycoon world with good character. This has also restored the good image of the Sunyang group, causing revenue and stock prices to increase significantly. Empowered by the public's love, Do Jun is appointed as the next chairman of Sunyang Company. The inauguration ceremony will take place on the 5th of next month. His cousin Seong Jun is planning some dark scheme. Do Jun, after his victory and securing Sunyang, goes to his grandpa to report the good news, and that he has fulfilled his promise. Min Yong also learns about this. Du Jun has not been a bad person, as he said. The news also reports that female athlete Mai Ran has won a silver medal. Min Yong remembers what Du Jun had said. At the next Olympics, they would get married and have children. She is moved and calls him. Du Jun happily prepares to go meet her. On the way to meet his love, while assistant Ha announces that there is a car accident up ahead and they are waiting. Du Jun once again faces a serious accident. A truck has crashed into his car. In that life or death moment, Du Jun realizes he can't change the fate of the deaths in the past. He's falling into a daze. He sees a Hayan Wu in front of him. This time, no one can save the youngest son. As he gradually regains consciousness, he sees foreign doctors in front of him. After the crisis, he seems agitated. But what he has to accept is that he has returned to the form of Hayan Wu. His past life hadn't really died. After being murdered and thrown into the sea, someone else saved him. Prosecutor Min Yong. Who is in front of him? She says that she saved him. And does he remember who she is? Of course, he knows who she is. But now she is no longer his lover, but a prosecutor in real life. Then he thanks her for saving his life. Min Yong says that he doesn't need to be cautious. She saved him because she wants him to testify to the jury. She wants to sue Chairman Young Ki, also his oldest uncle, for illegal inheritance. The testimony of Sunyang's chief financial officer, like his, is the most concrete evidence. She wants to know the reason why the person who instructed him to bring the black fund back from abroad wanted to kill him. What is the reason? Hayan Wu says that his job is to follow the orders of his superiors, and he has no opinions or questions. Min Yong doesn't understand, wondering how far his loyalty has gone. As soon as he arrives at Seoul Airport with prosecutor Min Yong, Hayan Wu is suddenly arrested urgently by another group of prosecutors for embezzling public funds during his business dealings. He is accused of embezzling 700 billion from the sale of Sunyang Micro, a foreign company belonging to the Sunyang Group. This is the money that his grandpa left for Du Jun. The money was found in a private account under his name. He cannot explain. Taking advantage of Min Yong working with the prosecutor, he finds a chance to escape. Then he calls home. His younger brother says that someone from Sunyang came to find him about the embezzlement of public funds. Hayan Wu asks his younger brother to prepare a few things for him. Standing outside, he sees his dad bowing and apologizing to the other person. He keeps saying that he is innocent. Seeing this, Hayan Wu is extremely heartbroken. Their family meets, 3 people, for a few short minutes. Before leaving, he doesn't forget to remind his dad to never bow to others for him again. Hayan Wu then finds a subordinate of Sunyang's vice president. He gradually realizes something. No matter how loyal he is only a servant to someone with power. Seong Jun is the one behind milking the cow and throwing away the skin. He told him to go abroad to find the black money, but then deliberately sent someone to kill him, cutting off the lead to be able to hug that money himself without anyone knowing. He is trying to hold Hayan Wu back, waiting for Sunyang's people to come, but once again he manages to escape. Realizing everything, Hayan Wu finds prosecutor Min Yong, wanting to cooperate and asking her to help because everything is now pointing towards him. He is currently a suspect, not a victim. At this time, Seong Jun also hears the news about Hyun Min. He has survived the assassination attempt abroad. Here, through his assistant, Seong Jun, he also learns of her ambitious plan to betray and take him down to take Sunyang. He is preparing everything to be able to take over the group because his dad has fallen ill. The chairman's chair will become empty. The conversation between the assistant and vice president, Seong Jun, mentions the 3rd-generation tycoon, Du Jun. Seeing the appearance of the young man Hayan Wu now, it's certain that the accident that caused the death 20 years ago of the youngest son is related to his cousin Seong Jun. On the other hand, Hayan Wu's case has been transferred to Prosecutor C for investigation, and the arrest warrant has been temporarily lifted. But she will try to investigate the 700 billion from the Black Fund, and when she needs him, she will contact him. When the two face each other, he mentions that the girl he loves also likes the same music group as her. This confuses her a little. Hayan Wu returns to his apartment. Here, the place has been searched and torn apart a lot. After calming down, Hayan Wu realizes that after more than a week unconscious in the hospital, he has revived as Du Jun for 17 years. Now, he will continue to complete the final battle with the Sunyang family as Du Jun had wished. But he has not been able to do so. Hayan Wu then finds Miracle's director, the same uncle he had invested in all those years ago. He is living in a forest of his own, having run away after the failure and loss with his young partner, Du Jun. Si-hyun has sold all the shares related to Sunyang. He doesn't want to see the family of those people fighting each other anymore. Hayan Wu still doesn't forget his favorite donut shop. With his reasons and finesse, he surprises Si-hyun. He thought he was his partner Du Jun. He wants him to continue to pursue the common ideal with him, to win back the group's business rights for people who are really capable, not based on inheritance rights. On the other hand, the youngest son's mother, after her son's death, has turned her back on her husband. Even on his birthday, she doesn't want to see her cowardly husband. Because he wanted to return to Sunyang and family power, he remained silent and didn't protect his son, making her extremely resentful. At this time, Si-hyun finds her. He says that the youngest son had previously returned 3 shares of Sunyang Company to her. It is time to use those shares for her vote. He wants to find a new and worthy owner of Sunyang, because he is Du Jun's person, and the upcoming shareholders meeting is about to take place. Seeing the second mother he loves, his heart is also silent. Hayan Wu and Si-hyun then returned to Miracle with a different appearance. The first thing he did was stand up to mobilize shareholders to challenge Shang Jun. He stood up to present his views and direction to the press, but that was just bait for Sunyang's side. There are still power struggles in the family war. The third daughter's family secretly meets with the prosecutor to expose the illegal inheritance rights of her grandson, Seong Jun, at the upcoming shareholders meeting. Thanks to Hayan Wu's cooperation, Prosecutor Min Yong is gradually reaching the destination of the investigation. She is very grateful to him. He is also very touched to know that in her heart, she has kept a deep affection for Du Jun. Because of the accident that year of the youngest son, Sunyang put pressure on her, causing her investigation to stop. So she always wants to stop all of Sunyang's actions. The nickname, Sunyang's Grim Reaper, is not because she wants to face the group, but because she wants to wear black to mourn the death of her lover. The prosecutor's office has issued a hearing for the Sunyang group. At the upcoming shareholders meeting, this is causing their stock to fall miserably. With the company in a mess, the 20-year-old accident of Du Jun resurfaces. All suspicion is falling on Seong Jun. Here, he angrily speaks out about how everyone always thinks he is the one who killed his younger brother, because everyone wants to kick Du Jun out of the inheritance race. After returning to his room, Seong Jun remembers that year his dad was the one who arranged everything and left the evidence, putting all the blame on him. With irrefutable evidence, he uses this to threaten his son, in return for his handing over the management rights, so that he can easily sit in the chairman's chair. He has collapsed to the core for a while. Even so, the next day, he calmly appears at the hearing. Before the accusations at the hearing, Hayan Wu confirms that his mission was to retrieve the black money, and was then assassinated by Sunyang's vice president, making it a failed murder. However, Sunyang's assistant influenced the witnesses, who witnessed the assassination attempt on the beach, so they cannot be present at the hearing, thinking that everything will fall into hopelessness. But Du Jun's dad asks prosecutor SEO to bring another important witness about the accident that year. The appearance of Du Jun's loyal assistant Ha proves that the accident that year was a deliberate murder, not random. Although he was planted by Dong Ki to monitor Du Jun, he gradually saw Du Jun as his true master. In a split second, he recognized Hayan Wu's face at the scene of the crime. But because he was too excited, Assistant Ha called him by the name of Du Jun and told him to get out of danger quickly. He was then taken out by the police because he wasn't in his right mind. Then, Prosecutor SEO comforts Hayan Wu. He also recalls his memories of that year. He was really present at the scene because he got a part-time job there. But when he drove there, he didn't see anyone. And then suddenly, the youngest son's accident happened. Seeing Du Jun in front of him, covered in blood, he was terrified. The person who ordered him to park the car as bait to kill Du Jun was Assistant Shin. He had arranged it according to Young Ki's wishes. Assistant Shin also allowed him to change his family's circumstances by working for Sunyang. He wanted to report this murder plot. He called the police to report, and it was at this time that he saw people working for Sunyang passing by him. Looking back at himself, poor and always looked down upon by others, fighting with his will. Hayan Wu became part of Du Jun from then on. That was also the truth that he had buried in Hayan Wu's past. After surviving and returning, Hayan Wu asked his younger brother to go home and find a file he kept in a pot and send it to him. The hearing returns. Assistant Ha is haunted by the shock of Du Jun's accident and is not in his right mind, so his words before the court are rejected. At this time, the recording of the call that Hayan Wu had kept for so long is played for everyone to hear. The person who gave him the order was Assistant Shin. Besides that, there were instructions from Young Ki. Seong Jun knew everything but remained silent, colluding with his dad. That evidence confirms the sins they committed, just to win the business rights to inherit the group. Seong Jun is now angry, cursing Hayan Wu for betraying him and saying insulting words. He even runs up to grab Hayan Wu's collar. He is then escorted away. The press and reporters who are present also spread the news, exposing and clarifying the truth about the death of the third-generation tycoon of Sunyang. At this time, young Qi's life has also ended on a hospital bed, after a period of fighting for inheritance. After that time, the Sunyang family also spoke out, not interfering in the group's business, withdrawing from the business because they were boycotted by everyone. Sunyang then switched to a professional management system through the shareholders meeting, thereby bringing Sunyang's business to the market. The fourth-generation tycoons will also be stripped of their business inheritance rights. So Seongjun's wife, who is also the daughter of the newspaper family, has decided to divorce, having no relationship with Sunyang. From Hayan Wu's hands, the Jin family's business rights have been stripped away. Si-hyun offers to buy Hayan Wu's brain with his donuts as a long-term commitment. The death of the youngest son has been clarified. Do-jun's family has also been somewhat relieved. Hayan Wu also understands the truths about the third-generation tycoon and himself. Now he has started a new life. The conflict with his dad has also been resolved. He doesn't need to inherit the Sunyang group, because he can now stand firm on the miracle that he created. As for Minyoung, she has also lessened the sadness about Do-jun's death. Under the familiar place, the two touch each other in reality. Minyoung finds the silhouette of her lover in Hayan Wu. Perhaps the two of them will open a new beginning. Closing the tense war for inheritance of the tycoon family, the mysteries about the two people have been answered. Be sure to follow us to watch the next exciting movies.